It's almost a dirty word in poker.
This is the main event, sir.
Some players fear it. Some players thrive on it.
When I sit down, I'm going to be quickly trying to assess who's concerned about making the money and who's going to try and abuse the bubble and develop a game plan from there.
Everyone must face the bubble.
I've been dreaming about playing in the main event for a long time, and obviously with this huge field, it would be quite an accomplishment.
The bubble is pretty intense. It's a lot of money in real life, so everybody's trying to scoot through, trying to get in.
It's significant. You don't want to play, especially in this, for 4 days and then not make the money. It's just annoying.
Some players will struggle and leave empty-handed. Others will make the money and point their chips towards the final table. Tonight on Day 4 of the World Series of Poker Main Event, the bubble will burst. Hi everyone, welcome to Day 4 coverage of the World Series of Poker Main Event, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. So much poker already played, so much poker yet to be played. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott here at the Rio for an annual rite of passage, the bursting of the main event money bubble.
Day 4, Kobe, baby. Day 4, let's go.
We're all in the place of rooting for each other right now. That's true.
I'm gonna win it. Your shoes are amazing. Get those on camera.
Pro Sean Deed knows what day it is.
Actually, I think he's ordering 4 massages for Antonio Esfandiari.
2-hour levels, 30,000 chips. How can I not marinate for 4 days straight?
Poker pro and commentator David Tuckman has made it to Day 4.
Wow, that's for me? Man.
Erick Lindgren always finds that back entrance.
He's a smart man, Lon. He knows that's where the beverage cart is.
Johnny Chan thinking third main event title.
When I see Johnny Chan at the main event, a chill runs down my back.
Inside the Amazon room, so much anticipation for this huge night of poker. David D'Alessandro, the chip leader with 1.1 million.
From penny tables online 6 years ago to chip leader at the main event, very nice.
Big one for one drop champ Antonio Esfandiari alive, and is he primed to go deep?
He won 18 million at the big one. Let somebody else take this one, Doctor.
Daniel Negreanu's short stack facing a tall order here on Day 4.
You gotta have that soundtrack. It's key. Oh, wow. Rocky Balboa. Oh,
it's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
It will take a Rocky-like performance for Daniel to climb into that top 10. Sean Rice in second. Houston-based AJ Jejelo in sixth. 666 players will make the money. Erick Lindgren sitting down now at the feature table.
He just celebrated his 1-year wedding anniversary. He's going after my record.
Johnny Chan and his 10 bracelets are here too.
10 bracelets, 2 world titles, and 1 acting credit in a big poker movie.
When Johnny Chan was busy winning back-to-back main event titles in 1987 and 88, Erick Lindgren was still in Little League. Tonight, they're both very much in the big league, seated at the featured table on Day 4 of one of the key days of the main event, a day that forever stands out in a poker player's mind. It's time to burst the bubble.
There are bubbles and there are bubbles. This is no ordinary bubble. This isn't a housing bubble or a soap bubble or a bubblegum bubble. This is the main event bubble, the bubble of all bubbles, maybe the biggest bubble in human history. And when the bubble bursts, and Erick Lindgren and Johnny Chan know this as well as anyone, you've either busted your butt for 4 days and earned bupkis, or you've doubled your money with a chance at $8.5 million. That's the honest bubble truth.
A quick look at tonight's featured table. Plenty of star power here on Day 4, starting with Johnny Chan.
Chan has a decent-sized stack, but 2 of his toughest opponents are to his direct left. He'll have to tread lightly.
Await World Series Player of the Year Erick Lindgren with a pretty good seat.
With Chan and Vivek Rajkumar on his right, E-Dog should be able to control the size of the pots he plays against those guys.
Action on Johnny Chan, the 55-year-old, almost back-to-back main event champ, King Queen off.
All right, let's get it out of the way right now. What's the deal with that hat?
A raise to 13,000. Vivek Rajkumar yet to take a seat here at the featured table. Lindgren with ace-10 off.
For Erick Lindgren, the main event has always been a dead zone. Never cashed till last year when he finished 43rd.
The blinds right here on Day 4, 2,500 and 5,000 with a 500 chip ante. The chip average in the room right now, about 286,000.
Poker Hall of Famer and 1986 champ Barry Johnston has the most main event cashes ever with 10.
Folded to the big blind, Patrick Kayat. He gives up 7-6, so it'll be heads up between 2 of the heavy hitters in the world of poker, Johnny Chan and Erick Lindgren. Chan has Lindgren covered. Here's the flop. And a pair of aces for Lindgren, 2 hearts on the board.
Chan has cashed 6 times in the main event.
Chan missed that flop, but bets 18,000.
Johnny bets with nothing. Lindgren in position with top pair.
Erick just with a call. 74,000 in the middle right now. Turn card. Another 7. Chan now drawing dead.
What will the Green Lantern do now?
Lindgren with aces up. And that's 26,000.
The thing about Chan's hat, if he ever misplaced it and asked someone to find it, how would he describe it?
Well, I guess Johnny Chan is never truly drawing dead. A check raise to 65,000.
Wow, Chan announces himself with the check raise bluff on the turn.
Now Lindgren gives up the hand, folding his aces up to Chan.
E-Dog lays it down to the olive-clad superhero.
Chan, born in China, moved to the U.S. with his family when he was 15 years old with 448,000 after bluffing Erick Lindgren off the best hand. Let's check in with Phil Locke and Antonio Esfandiari for some quick thoughts on that last hand.
Erick, you've got position, you've got top pair, not the best kicker. I don't like opening the door here. I would just check, take one more street, and then get to the end of the hand and win the money. Don't open the door here.
I don't mind checking back with the ace-10. Certainly, you have position on Chan. You have to be prepared to call the turn because Johnny Chan is never making this play with an ace-king in his hand. He has to be afraid that Erick has a 7 or something like that in his hand.
Against your average opponent, yeah, you can take this ace-10 and bet for value. But against a tricky opponent, and somebody as tricky as Johnny Chan, this is even more reason to just check and get to the end of the hand, win the pot.
Right. Chan took advantage of Erick. He took advantage of his chip position and really put Erick to the test. I mean, this is what no limit hold'em is all about. And in the end, he got Erick to fold the best hand.
Well, this will make things more interesting. Vivek Rajkumar finally has found the featured table, and 661,000 chips come with him. Action folded to Erick Lindgren. King, queen off. 35-year-old raises to 10,000.
Well, King Queen worked for Johnny Chan. Maybe it will now work for Erick Lindgren.
This is a pressure-packed time for first-time main event cashers to be. They could walk away with a profit, and that is quite a badge of honor. Scott Blackman in the big blind, 7-6 of clubs, calls for 5,000.
He was an All-American goaltender for Penn State's ice hockey team in 2003, so E-Dog better skate carefully here.
10 tray 4. Blackman picks up a gut shot. Lindgren is best with king high. Blackman checks it to Erick. Lindgren bets 12,000.
Blackman began playing poker when he saw rounders, so he knows Johnny Chan, but probably doesn't recognize Erick Lindgren.
Blackman calls for 12,000 with his draw. Turn card king. Lindgren with top pair now, making his job a little easier. Blackman missed his draw and checks again.
Blackman now a cash game pro, usually plays in Atlantic City.
And Erick checks behind.
E-Dog decides he doesn't want to see another check raise on the turn.
9 of hearts. Blackman comes up short. And he checks again.
Yeah, with 7 high, Blackman says no mas.
Lindgren reaching for chips. That's 24,000.
That's 24,000.
Blackman. Dramatic pause before his fold.
Well, maybe Blackman is thinking more mas.
Nope, indeed, he does get rid of it. And Lindgren will take that pot.
Erick getting a few chips back from the Johnny Chan bluff.
He has 151,000 now, still below the chip average, but rebuilding his stack as the money bubble nears here on day 4 of the main event.
I know there are a lot of women that look up to me, and I'm really happy that I get to play that role because there are so many women that are getting better and better, and we're seeing women's poker really improve over the last year or two. I mean, just this year, 12 women made final tables at, World Series preliminary events. I'm living with Vanessa, Liv, and Maria. These are the best women in the game, and it's fun to bounce ideas in poker off of them. And, honestly, being in such a male-dominated world, it's really nice to get to spend some quality time with the few women that are really in the game. I think women are just generally very friendly. We're all kind of searching for connections with each other. We've also just been having a lot of fun. We've hosted a couple big parties. We flew planes that did like crazy stunts, and we've gone camping and we've gone hiking. You know, I think we all kind of inspire each other to get away from the poker table sometimes and take some breaks. So it's really nice to have other people kind of pulling you in other directions and maybe taking your mind off poker a little bit.
The celebration scene came as Vanessa won her second bracelet a short while ago, and she's got chips here in the main event.
Indeed, she is the chip leader at this table.
Tuan Lee also here at the secondary feature table.
Two-time WPT titleist, but those came in 2004 and 5.
Canadian Mark Karam dabbles in live tournaments, more of an online shark.
When he dabbles well. 2 EPT final tables, 2 WPT final tables.
Folded to Selbst, she comes in for a raise to 11,000 with King 5 offsuit.
Raising with King 5 offsuit, that's what we can expect from Vanessa Selbst.
Action on the button, Kobe Kobian, Jack 10 offsuit.
He's a 44-year-old welder from Indianapolis.
You don't have to look both ways, Kobe. Just see Vanessa in the pot and get out. He does fold. Karam now with King, Jack of diamonds.
Karam, a 31-year-old Canadian pro, and Mark with his own streak of aggression.
Born in Montreal, lives in Ottawa, the second most chips at this table, and he raises to 32,000, back to Selbst.
And trust me, Vanessa never likes being 3-bet.
She's not going anywhere. She's getting down to some serious business. 4 bets to 78,000.
4 betting with King 5 offsuit. That is what we can expect from Vanessa Selbst.
And it has done her very well over the years to play just like that. And Karam gets rid of the better hand, and Vanessa epitomizing the old poker adage, play the player, not the cards.
When most of us do that, Lon, we're morons. When she does that, it's genius, and it works.
And it pushes Vanessa Selbst over the 800,000 chip mark right now. At an outer table, 2 local pros tangling. Eric Baldwin on the right, raised pre-flop, holding 10-9 of spades. Shorter stack Daniel Negreanu in the big blind with 8-7 off.
Daniel doesn't have a lot of margin for error here. He's got less than 20 big blinds left. So I'm not sure he wants to get too stubborn defending his big blind with 8-7 off.
Daniel does throw in a call.
Stubborn.
All right, 2 strong pros. We'll see this flop now. 9-5-6. Daniel flops the straight with a redraw to a straight flush.
What's the Canadian word for bingo?
He checks to the razor. Baldwin with top pair and way behind.
But he's going to want to protect his hand here against any draws.
He does bet 18,500. And Daniel moves all in for his last 77,000. Baldwin makes the call, and Daniel Negreanu in good shape to double up if he doesn't fall over his chair first.
He was a poker brat-esque in his glee jumping up from his seat.
That's true.
Eric Baldwin was hoping Daniel was on a draw. Daniel gets it in with a 97% hand.
And Baldwin needs some help right away. Turn card deuce of spades won't do it. Baldwin drawing dead, and Daniel Negreanu with a double up.
Well, Daniel now can put some happy music on the headphones. He's got a playable stack.
Daniel passes a big test in the early hours of day 4. He told us on day 3 he had enough chips then to get past the bubble. Still up for debate so far. And the bubble is one of the most fun and agonizing dimensions of this tournament. As everyone steps up their game, we're just 22 players away from the first payouts of over $19,000.
You don't want to miss the money now, Lon, as it was once written. For of all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are these, the bubble boy I might have been.
Who wrote that?
It was nice of you to come join us this summer, though.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Gracing us with your presence late in the series.
I do what I can, man.
Lindgren needling Rajkumar. Action on Patrick Kayat with pocket nines, 29-year-old amateur.
12-5 total.
And the Frenchman raises to 12,500.
He works as an equity derivative sales trader, Lon. I don't like the sound of that.
I have no idea what that is. Lindgren with King, Queen of Hearts makes the call.
Boy, I hope Eric doesn't plan to make a living off of King, Queen.
Yeah, baby needs new shoes. He and his wife, Erica, have a baby boy at home. On the button, Anthony Scherer with Ace-Jack of Hearts.
He finished 16th at the 2008 main event.
And he lays that hand down. Wow. In the small blind now, Remy Kukak with 5 deuce into the muck. Big blind, Sean Giesbrecht. Jack 5 suited. And he gives it up. So heads up Lindgren and Kayat.
Kayat's got that young Sean Penn vibe going.
Yeah, he does indeed. All right, here's the flop now. A king in the window for Lindgren, but a set of nines for Kayat.
Nightmare flop for E-Dog. Kayat has the kind of sunglasses that may have cost $5 or $500. Impossible to tell.
He enjoys playing pot limit Omaha at the Aviation Club in Paris. He bets $14,500. Now Lindgren with top pair again.
When they bet $14,500, Lon, that's a value-added tax, the 500, common in Europe. Well, Lindgren here might want to make Kayat pay more for this flop, but Eric's the one who's going to be costing himself.
Yeah, there is a raise to $35,000.
Raise to $35,000. I'm on it.
All in C2.
All in, yeah, that was expected.
And Lindgren with virtually an identical stack as Kayat. He's barely got the French amateur covered.
So a huge moment for each player.
I call.
A call with top pair.
Ouch.
Lindgren will be in trouble as he sees the set. A rueful smile from the bracelet winner.
What a day. All right.
Well, we saw Eric Baldwin call an all-in, drawing almost dead, and now Erick Lindgren calls an all-in, drawing almost dead. And this one's for about every chip E-Dog has.
I think Eric has a little bit more.
Huh? I have
You got
more.
a little bit more.
Well, yeah.
The 7 will end it. Lindgren drawing dead. Kayat doubles up.
Now, once again, the main event is a dead zone for Erick Lindgren.
I guess I could have folded. I don't know.
They're counting the stacks to make sure, but Kayat with the double up.
I got one ante chip.
So you had 114.5, you had 115 even.
Lindgren left with enough for one ante, one chip worth 500.
If I hear anybody say chip in a chair, I'll block you.
I wasn't going to say it. Day 4 of the World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky with the bubble approaching. Erick Lindgren's all in for 500, has not looked at his cards. 2 others jousting around him. Sean Giesbrecht re-raising the big blind Scott Blackman to 60,000. Blackman folds, and Lindgren now can look at his cards. Pocket kings!
You don't believe what I have.
The good news is you have pocket kings. The bad news is you have one chip left.
He's favored against the 4 deuce of hearts, right?
Wow, that's pretty sick.
So Giesbrecht takes a small side pot from Blackman and will try to knock out Erick Lindgren.
Probably flop a wheel.
But he's got a long road ahead. Looks good for Eric so far.
E-Dog on the comeback trail.
Turn card now. Oh, Giesbrecht pairs up with a deuce. It's not over.
To be honest with you, something tells me a deuce or a 4 is coming.
The river is a 6. Eric's safe.
You had 6 too?
Chips in a chair.
Okay, I won't smack if you say it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erick Lindgren has just non-upuled up, and he now has almost one big blind.
Non-upuled? Eric's still in the running for his second main event cash, but he's dangerously close to joining the dark side of this list. Negreanu, Esfandiari, Selbst among the big names still in. Ivy, Helmuth, and Duhamel among the big names out.
By the way, a handful of players have cashed 4 straight times at the main event. Most recently, Sweden's Chris Bjorn and Portugal's Diogo Borges.
Back to Lindgren watch. He's automatically all in as the big blind. It's folded over to Rajkumar in the small blind, and they'll run it as Vivek's blind has Eric covered. Lindgren all in with 5 tray.
Do we have a 5 or a 3?
Well, tripling up here won't seem as exciting to Eric as non-upling up.
2 kings gone, 2 8s gone.
All right, the flop 10 deuce 10. No help to Lindgren.
4 clubs.
I thought I was going to be drawing dead there. I'll make me a pair. You still have plenty of outs. 3 of clubs is a good card.
Jack of hearts. Eric still with 2 live cards.
6 outs for Erick Lindgren to hang on. He needs a 5 or a 3.
The river card, the queen of spades, ends the suspense. Lindgren now has no chips, no chair, knocked out of the main event.
And as is the case every year, E-Dog walks down the boulevard of broken dreams.
Lindgren out just short of the cash. Rajkumar approaching 700,000 chips. Almost nothing went right for Erick Lindgren here on day 4. And like so many others, he'll have to wait until next year. In the rafters of the Amazon room, the banner of 2-time world champion Johnny Chan. As the bubble looms large, Arkara Scott caught up with that legend of the game.
Johnny Chan knows a thing or two about the main event. He has 2 bracelets in this event already. Talk to me about bubble play. We're going hand for hand. What does that mean?
Well, that means if you happen to finish number 667 or 666, you get no money. So you got to be very careful. So basically, if you short a stack, I wouldn't play any hands at all. Just try to finish the money. After that, it's over. You can start a gamble.
Can we expect to see an aggressive Johnny Chan taking advantage of some short stacks?
Perfect timing right now. Money in the bank.
Chan looking for his 7th main event cash, which would tie him for 3rd all time.
So as Chan plots his next move, we get a look around the room at how others are spending their time during hand-for-hand play.
Stand up. Players, please sit down.
We're in the money.
That'd be so sick. It's like, help.
What did you have for breakfast?
The bubble relaxes Kid Poker.
It's pretty amazing if you think about all the work that goes into it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Potentially a lot of downtime during hand-for-hand.
Good luck. Thanks. Okay, so we have a kick bet. Who can kick the higher? What's your name? Brian. And Brian or Antonio? Who can kick higher for $100? Put me to work.
I know. Thank you. You should charge by the signature, man.
Well, you're like, what I'm going to do is that. Okay. Well, he just hit my hand,
okay,
so
so
I guess I have to go. Yeah.
A new concept, Lon. The prop bet Olympics. It'll blow the X Games out of the water.
That's new bracelet winner Brian Minders trying to score some cash off Antonio Esfandiari. Well, we'll try to check back with him and see how that develops. All right, back at the feature table, hand-for-hand play. Action on Johnny Chan with pocket trays on the Jack Link's beef jerky whole cam. And a raise to 13,000. Rajkumar with ace-king of hearts.
On day 3 here, Rajkumar and 5-time bracelet winner John Juwanda were sitting at a table with poker instructor Alex Althred. Alex came up with a new nickname for Juwanda, the Quiet Storm, and said he's working on a nickname for Vivek.
I like it. Vivek with a re-raise to 35,000. He knows Johnny can be sneaky in these bubble moments, so you never know what Chan's up to. Giesbrecht with ace-8 of spades on the button.
For Vivek, how about the almost as quiet 3-better on the bubble? That's got a nice ring to it, no?
It does. Here's how hand-for-hand works. Each table in the room will play a hand, and then when that hand is over, the dealer will stand up, wait for all the tables to complete that one hand, and then they'll do it again.
Yeah, this prevents people from stalling at any one particular table.
So the re-raise back to Johnny Chan, and he makes the call for 22,000 more.
So the 2 biggest stacks at this table collide.
Rajkumar has Chan covered. 4, tray 8, a set for Johnny Chan. And Chan will check it.
Chan will sit back and let Vivek continue to be aggressive, and Vivek is nothing if not aggressive.
Ace-king of hearts, a beautiful starting hand, but when your opponent flops a set, you're in hot water if you keep betting, and Vivek bets 36,000.
Vivek hopes that bet will end it. Rather, it will begin his nightmare at Green Lagoon. Bubble play with a good-sized stack is usually just a game of poker chicken, Lon. Of course, that gets thrown out the window when you flop a set.
Chan just calls with that set. Turn card 10 of clubs, all good for Chan. Rajkumar now drawing dead. Johnny checks again.
You know, this vaguely reminds me of Chan sitting on that straight against Erick Seidel at the '88 main event, immortalized by rounders.
And just let Seidel keep putting chips into the middle. And Rajkumar looks like he will do likewise, 85,000.
I doubt Johnny is legitimately worried here, but Rajkumar does have him covered, and say pocket 10s are in the range of hands Vivek might have. Or, of course, Chan could just be acting as if he's weak and unsure.
Chan checking his cards again, putting on quite a show. Now Johnny putting some of his troops together. Chan with a check raise.
You don't have to Hollywood, John, for that long. I mean,
no, I don't want to finish 66, dude.
I mean, like
90,000.
There's really no need to Hollywood that long. Shake your head and then do the puffing. I mean, there's no need.
Vivek a bit bothered by Johnny's quote-unquote acting, but he should just take the setback without comment.
Chan takes the pot over 600,000, and someone giving Johnny Chan a tongue lashing. You don't see that every day. So we'll look around the Amazon room. Many tables have completed their hand. And now Antonio going for the money kick. Wow! And he scores. Brian will pay him off.
$18 million for the one drop. Now $100 on the bubble to main event.
Robbie Diamonds, Robert Peltecki's still alive with a short stack.
He's looking at back-to-back cashes here at the main event, plus maybe he's drummed up some jewelry business.
We've got an all-in and call. Standing is Steve Rosen, all-in with kings, but he's run into the aces of Gwen Grandmaison. All right, here's the flop. The aces stand tall.
These are the kind of situations you see crop up when we're on the bubble. Big hands against each other.
Rosen looking to score a king. It's a tray on the turn, no help.
Rosen's got to have a king.
The river card is paid, but it's a queen, and what a way to bubble. Rosen knocked out with his pocket kings against the aces.
The bubble boy wears blue.
All right, at another table, David Kelly at risk with 2 queens. He's a 4-1 dog to Christina Lindley at her aces.
Well, they're getting in with good hands, but they're beat.
Flop, 10, deuce, ace. Lindley flops a set to all but end the matter.
Oh, it's over.
Turn card is a 6. Kelly drawing dead. He's eliminated. 2 players out so far in this first hand on the bubble.
The bubble boy wears a plaid hoodie.
All taking place on this first hand of hand-for-hand action. To another table it continues. Dane Lomas at risk, but he's the one with the aces. Devin Looney going for the knockout with only ace-king. And there are 2 kings in the flop. The horror.
Jeez, Lomas got it in with the best hand. He's still going to go out.
Trip kings for Looney. A deuce on the turn. Lomas looking for help. The case ace. The river is the jack of diamonds, and Trip King sends Lomas on his way with pocket aces.
The bubble boy wears a black t-shirt.
We are down now to 666.
How many bubble boys can there be?
Action at this table. Desmond Portano at risk with his kings, but he's way ahead of the 5s of Roberto Riva.
Yet another big hand to get it all in with.
All right, here's the flop, and a 5 for Riva.
I can't take it.
Portano and his kings in a desperate situation. And there's a spade on the turn. Portano with a flush draw.
Portano needs a king or any spade other than the 6.
The river card now is the ace of diamonds, and that is it. Portano knocked out with his kings.
The bubble boy wears a beard.
So now, Norman, we have 665 remaining players. They can all relax for a short moment and pat themselves on the back. They're in the money.
That was a bubble boy record.
My goodness.
Are the Beatles here?
Nope. The money is here, Norman.
That never happens, right? In one round?
We made the money. I went from top 100 chip count to bottom 10 overnight.
Look at that guy. He's been short all day.
Alejandro Anaya and his handful of chips make the money.
Who's doing shots? Who's doing shots with me? Come on, one shot. Come on.
Now we get to start playing again.
Just wanted to survive the first day. That's all I wanted. So my friends would not bust my for the rest of my life. I needed to survive the first day. Now the opposite has happened. My first time ever playing in the main event, I've min-cashed, which means I get to bust their for the rest of my life. This is a great day.
First time everybody's out. Couldn't have worked out better.
I made the money.
Not 1 or even 2 bubble boys, but 4. And because they all went out on the same hand at different tables, they split 666 place money, taking away $4,800 each. The money bubble is cruel, but it also brings so much euphoria.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Back at the Rio, Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott along for the Day 4 ride. The bubble has just burst, and for the first time since we've been calling the main event, 4 players are bubble boys. 2 cold decks, 2 bad beats. That's how you burst a bubble in one hand.
All 4 of them got it in with no worse than pocket queens. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
A few top pros are still kicking. Maria Ho, Chris Moorman, and Gavin Smith. Gavin short stack. One of the friendliest players in the game, 56-year-old Freddie Deeb. He also is one of the most talkative, so we mic'd him up for tonight's episode of Mic Check.
We got 4 more days. Take your time. We're in no hurry. I think if you play faster, you're going to pick up 2 aces. But the slower you play, the worse the cards will get. Try to play faster next time and see you're going to pick up better hand than King 9. Is it better than King 9? It is? Okay, then you can take another minute think about it. What do you mean you don't blame him? After I defend you, now you tell him you don't blame him? Just tell him not to do it again. Just some little guy like this push you around?
All right, let's arm wrestle.
Arm wrestle. You got no shot.
What?
You know what I'm gonna do before I'm gonna punch you in the face and then I'm gonna arm wrestle you. I'll knock you out. You wanna arm wrestle with my son? I'm a little guy. I probably have little kids. But how about you arm wrestle with my daughter? You wanna do that? She's your age, 27. He's skinny. He's about your age. Yeah, this guy. I mean, his arm doesn't look strong. You know. I think you can beat him. So, are you a professional arm wrestler or just do it for fun?
You've got to love Freddie. He's challenged to arm wrestle, and he counters by backing his daughter Janine for $5,000 to arm wrestle. And Freddie's not making that bet unless he's 100% sure she's going to win.
Back to the secondary featured table, Vanessa Selbst, who is used to having her chip stack fluctuating. That comes with the territory when you're a hyper-aggressive player.
Vanessa won a bracelet in 2008 in Pot Limit Omaha, and she won a bracelet here in 2012 in the 10-game mix. She's the only woman to win a bracelet in an open event in the last 5 World Series.
Folded to her on the button with King 10 of spades. She says she plans to get to a lawyering career, but she's riding her poker rush for a while. A raise to 10,000. Over to the big blind. Kobe Kobian with ace-jack offsuit. He's from Indianapolis, a self-employed welder.
Raise.
And he's daring, isn't he? A re-raise. Kobian.
Wow, I would not 3-bet Vanessa unless I was wearing full body armor.
Boy, a re-raise to 54,000.
The welder taking a stand against the lawyer-to-be.
And there's the call for 44,000 more.
Selbst could have 4-bet Kobian all in there, and of course he would have called.
Vanessa with over 700,000 chips taking on the shorter stack Kobian. Here is the flop, 9-10 king, a Broadway draw for Kobian. Selbst with kings up, Kobian all in, and a call.
I hope I didn't get really lucky. I have king 10. I was just trying to hit a pair.
Yeah, you got me.
I thought you had a small pair or something.
Just got a gut shot.
Well, Vanessa does get lucky there. You know, it's one thing when they're good, but it's a whole nother thing and not fair when they're lucky. Vanessa's got the amateur on the ropes.
Kobian improves to a 2-way straight draw.
Kobian's going to need a queen or a 7.
The river card. The 4 of diamonds. Kobian knocked out of the main event with a min cash. His first ever World Series of Poker finish in the money earns him over $19,000.
I'm a live poker player. That's what we do. Got no fold equity. My hand's pretty good.
This is the part of Vanessa I don't understand. You knocked out the guy, just take the chips without the chatter.
Vanessa Selbst with that knockout approaching 900,000 chips right now. Once again, we pick in on David D'Alessandro, the chip leader to start the day, and chip leader now.
He's interested in a music career, but right now he's more interested in a main event career.
Jason Somerville continues to have a healthy stack, more than twice the average.
He's a UFC and StarCraft fan, but he'll tell you neither compares to the main event.
JJ Lowo has cracked a million chip barrier.
That's a lot of chips for a guy with a biomedical engineering degree. This is the main event.
Jason Mercier seems to have just cracked. He's gone from the 2012 main event.
His second main event min cash in 3 years.
And our buddy David Tuckman ran into the buzzsaw that is Henry Tran, losing a pot of about 1.3 million. Tuck turned the nut straight. Tran rivered the nut flush.
Nice run by our poker broadcasting comrade.
Canucks goalie Roberto Luongo hoping to stave off elimination with pocket 4s against the pocket jacks of Brian Van Rissbergen.
This is Van Rissbergen's third cash of this World Series.
Van Rissbergen with a chip stack of over $1 million. Didn't cost him too much to make the call and try to knock out the NHL star. The flop 8 deuce 10, no help to Luongo.
The winningest Florida Panthers goaltender of all time is going to need a miracle save here.
A turn card is a king. That won't do it for Luongo.
Luongo's going to have a 4 and a 4 only.
The river is a tray, and the buzzer sounds on Luongo's 2012 main event.
Luongo was the last pro athlete standing, I believe.
He recently signed a 12-year deal worth $6.7 million this year, $18,000 a day. So it's not about the money. It's about a sense of accomplishment and competition at the World Series of Poker. Van Rissbergen with a high-profile knockout. He's now one of the biggest stacks in the house.
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Luongo gone. Brian Van Rissbergen will try to put his chips to good use here in the main event. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. It was a bracelet win that almost didn't happen. Seattle native and Army soldier Brandon Schaefer made the most of his 2012 World Series in the $1,500 no-limit Hold'em shootout.
Been in the Army for 9 months, had 2 weeks off, come here on a whim to play one tournament and end up winning it. It feels like a dream.
Great story. He's now off to flight school. Brandon's brother's a pilot in the U.S. Army, and he's going to join him.
Congratulations to Brandon. Here at the secondary feature table, Vanessa Selbst is the big stack over 904,000 chips. Folded to the new player here, Dan DiZenzo, and he has the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand. Good luck, Norman. A raise to 10,000.
Under the gun +2 min raise. That reeks of pocket aces, believe it or not. He's trying to induce someone to come over the top.
All right, pocket aces, he says. Mark Karam with pocket sixes makes the call.
I am proud to announce we are opening our first Jack Links Wildcard Hand Instructional Academy later this year in Blytheville, Arkansas. The JLWCHIA will be offering partial scholarships to anyone with a duckpin bowling background or anyone from the great state of Maryland.
Duckpin bowling only, though.
Only duck pins.
All right, heads up. Jack, Trey. Karam with 2 pair now, jacks and sixes. DiZenzo first to act.
Well, the pocket aces are firing away.
12,000. Karam, with his small pocket pair, makes the call.
Well, the JLWCHIA will explain to Mark Karam later what he's doing wrong.
All right, turn card now. Deuce of diamonds. That probably didn't help anyone, huh?
Yeah, with that board line, I'm telling you, pocket aces on cruise control now.
DiZenzo with 24,000 this time.
Now, if Karam thought his pocket sixes were good on the flop, they're still good here on the turn. Of course, at the JLWCHIA line, we know DiZenzo has pocket aces.
Do you have a website for that?
Not yet.
Okay, well, a call from Karam.
And look at this kid, Lon. He doesn't even look like he has pocket aces. What a cool customer.
All right, the river card. Another jack, so we know Karam has a full house. You think DiZenzo has a better full house.
Sticking to it. Now, DiZenzo might bet any of the 4 possible hands here. Jacks full of aces or quad jacks or monsters. And the other hands are busted draws he can't win with unless he forces Karam out.
He does bet 65,000.
And did you notice he bet and then coughed?
Yeah.
Joe Navarro would tell you that's pocket aces. That's a tell.
Karam makes the call. DiZenzo turns over. B for quad jacks to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
Well, technically, Lon, I got that wrong, but at the JLWCHIA, we know spiritually I got that hand right.
Quads, who'd have thunk? DiZenzo joins the table, hits quads, and he's approaching 400,000 chips. Karam loses 14% of his stack.
And you can't fault Karam in that hand, but I don't think he's Jack Link's wildcard hand instructional academy material instructor-wise.
JLWCHIA, oh my. The new player at the featured table in the red shirt taking the spot of Erick Lindgren is Isaac Barron. He's a very tough online veteran who, despite just turning 25, has a wealth of poker experience. But for someone like the great Johnny Chan, who does not travel the poker circuit that much, most tables these days are full of complete unknowns.
There's a lot more young players. There's a lot of newcomer, new faces. In the old days, when we played the World Series, we know who's who. Nowadays, I look around, whoever sits on my table, I don't even know 90% of them. Normally, I know 100% of them. So that's a big change.
Here's the difference. When Johnny won the main event in 1987 and 88, there were 152 and 167 entrants. This year, 6,598, lots of strangers.
Johnny Chan has the action with ace-king after Giesbrecht raised it up with pocket deuces, a re-raise to 28,000 from Chan.
The great part for unknown players at this featured table, they all get to say they played with Johnny Chan. That's a life experience you'll never forget. Heck, I once held the door for Phil Hellmuth, and even though he never went through it, I still remember it.
All right, around 2, Giesbrecht now.
Giesbrecht owns a mobile storage company in Vancouver, and he's just been 3-bet by Johnny Chan.
His friends know him as Sean G. Much easier to say than Sean Giesbrecht. He makes the call for 17,000 more. And the flop, 4 deuce 5, all diamonds. What a flop, a set for Giesbrecht. Johnny Chan with straight and flush draws. Giesbrecht checked.
By the way, I've decided I'm going to give the champ a pass on that hat. He's Johnny Chan.
Absolutely. And Chan with chips in hand. He'll bet 33,000.
Johnny's going to continuation bet that flop every day and twice on Sunday, whether he knows his opponent or not.
Now Giesbrecht with bottom set. Oh, that's more than 33,000. That's a raise to 91,000.
Some guys would dream for 20 years and crawl halfway across the desert to check raise Johnny Chan one time in their life.
Chan with the biggest stack at this table. And Chan re-raises to put Giesbrecht all in.
I call.
And he does call all in, and he's got the lead against Johnny Chan.
Boy, Giesbrecht in good position to take more than 1/4 of Chan's stack.
Chan, you see, with 12 outs on the turn. Giesbrecht trying to stay alive and double up. The turn card pairs the board and gives Giesbrecht an unbeatable full house. He will double up.
Well, there's a main event moment to cherish. Take home to Vancouver and talk about on the back porch for the next 50 years.
Still in the glow of cashing in this main event, Giesbrecht now has some chips to work with, 336,000. And as you mentioned, Norman, the great part about the main event is even an unknown can take a big pot from Johnny Chan. Day 4 continues from the Rio. 633 players left. Almost 6,000 are gone, but we're still a long way from the final table. Daniel Negreanu has almost tripled his stack today.
Trying to better his 211th place finish of a year ago.
Kevin Pollak chipping down, but is still chipper.
Cashing in his first main event ever. He's impersonating a poker pro.
And Elizabeth Hill continuing to chip up here on day 4.
And quite a showing in her second main event.
So the tension continues to build here in the Amazon room. The money is here, but the really big money will be paid out October 29th and October 30th at the featured table. Johnny Chan folds to Vivek Rajkumar. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole, Cam pocket tens.
He has applied mathematics and computer engineering degrees from the University of Washington.
Worked for Microsoft for a while, then went off to make millions in poker. He raised to 12,000 to Remy Kukak, ace queen off.
The 29-year-old is a physician on Reunion Island, a French colony in the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean, the number 3 ranked ocean in the world.
Kukak in the small blind.
Kukak is wearing the French version of the P.S. Hines hoodie.
It has spread throughout the world like wildfire. And it looks like he wants to put in more than 12,000. That's a re-raise to 40,000 from Dr. Kukak. In the big blind, Giesbrecht folds ace-queen. Happy to sit on his recent double-up. Rajkumar then raises Kukak all in.
I'm on.
And he calls. So the ace-queen will try to run down the pocket tens.
They have a pair?
Kukak shakes his head. Of course not. Hopefully there wasn't too much Hollywood in that hand. Don't want to annoy Vivek.
So Remy Kukak fighting for his tournament life. Trade 9-9. Rajkumar still ahead with the 10s and the 9s on board. Nothing in the flop to boost Kukak's spirits.
Rajkumar now a 3-1 favorite to dispatch the Frenchman.
But there's a queen for Kukak, and now he's one card from a double up.
And now Kukak needs to dodge just a 10 to double up.
River card is a king, and he will double up to over 350,000.
After we count.
Rajkumar has been backpedaling today. He has lost 300,000 from his stack.
Dr. Kukak taking more than 30% of Rajkumar's chips by winning that race.
And that cuts Vivek down to 370,000. He certainly has to get his game moving in the right direction if he wants to stick around. You see Joseph Chung with $500,000 trying to become the first 2-time November Niner. At one of the outer tables, we're learning that popular poker pro Liv Boeree just rivered top 2 pair, but her opponent Thomas Semmel already had 9s full. He put Liv all in, Boeree calls, and that brings this main event to an end for Liv Boeree.
Well, that should pay her share of the rent for the summer at her quad women's poker home. Her and Vanessa Russo now both out. Maria Ho and Vanessa Selbst still in.
Liv told us she was happy with how she was playing, but she'll have to content herself with finishing 631st and taking home over $19,000.
All right, Liv, let's move along. Players with chips only.
For Liv's World Series roommate Vanessa Selbst, a different story. Not a lot of movement so far here on day 4, but Vanessa with plenty of chips to work with. Johnny Chan came ready to play on day 4, taking an early pot from Erick Lindgren. He's increased his stack by 15%.
Second time in 3 years, Chan has cashed here. I'm getting that tingly feeling.
Neither Chan nor Selbst have stacks in the top 10, but David D'Alessandro does. He's the chip leader. Brian Van Rissbergen, who knocked out Roberto Luongo, is in third. Every year, the World Series of Poker Main Event celebrates the last woman standing.
Less than 200 women entered the main event. Leo Margette's the last one playing.
Right now, it looks like the last woman standing. Erica Motino, the last woman standing in the main event. This year, Gail Bowman led on day 3. Here on day 4, the woman to watch is Vanessa Selbst.
I have so much respect for her as a fellow poker player, and I also have so much respect for her as a person.
She's obviously a super genius, one of the most talented poker players on earth.
In just the last 2 years, Vanessa's won nearly $4 million.
I really think that I've been playing my A game a lot more often than I have in the past.
A Yale Law School graduate, owner of 2 bracelets, and poker talent that will make your jaw drop.
We've always been looking to see a woman win the main event, and if there's a woman that can, it's definitely Vanessa Selbst.
Maybe this is the year the last woman standing is the last player standing. What was once a daunting field of 6,598 has crept into triple digits. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Big one for one-drop champ Antonio Esfandiari has designs on another bracelet.
I have designs on a nice tan. Can you lend a hand, doctor?
Johnny Chan is celebrating the 25th anniversary of his first main event bracelet.
I'm celebrating the 25th anniversary of my first marital separation.
Vanessa Selbst collecting chips as usual.
I always find a way to give away chips.
David D'Alessandro's held the chip lead throughout day 4.
I've never held a lead on any day, any time, anywhere.
One player no longer in the main event, Robbie Diamond Speltecki.
But maybe he can help me. I'm looking for an emerald cut blue topaz medallion charm bracelet for under $100.
607 players are left. Average stack, 326,000. What was once an All-American leaderboard, now seeing some foreign blood. One American you might remember, 09 November 9er, Eric Buckman in 7th.
And everyone's still chasing the $8.5 million first prize.
To an outer table right away, Daniel Negreanu with pocket queens called the pre-flop all-in of Justin Oliver. Oliver with just 7s.
I've got the queens, he's got the 7s.
One way or another, the money's going back to Toronto.
Huh?
Money is going back to Toronto. Money's going back to Toronto one way or another.
How do you get these hands, kid? I wait patiently.
You just do it, huh?
Hey, it's not over yet.
Look, you hand player.
I don't get those hands. I gotta work hard with like ace deuce. Like that. Must be rough being you, huh? How did you get any hands at the final table though? One drop at all? None? No. Just all solid, just totally outplayed everybody. It's nice when you make trips heads up.
Antonio paying a visit.
Okay, I'm ready.
Daniel's ready, we can go, man.
All right, here's the flop. Oh, ace deuce would be a good hand here.
Geez, Antonio just talked about ace deuce. He even runs hot at other tables.
Queen's still good. 3 on the turn, no help to Oliver.
Oliver needs a 7 or he is wamboozled.
The river card is a 10. Negreanu's queens hold up.
Sorry, bro.
And that'll be enough to send Justin Oliver into the Vegas heat, back to the cooler climes of T.O.
Glad they went to you, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Good luck, dude.
Sorry.
Do something with them.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
The 36-year-old pro from Toronto hands his chips over to the 37-year-old pro from Toronto.
After making the money, many players are content to go home and proudly say they cashed in the main event, that they finished in the top 10%. 2 players not in that camp who have their sights set on being here come October are 4-time bracelet winner Daniel Negreanu and 2-time bracelet winner Vanessa Selbst. Daniel looks forward to the main event all year and always puts in his best effort. Vanessa only knows one speed, full steam ahead.
It seems as if Vanessa Selbst starts every day in the top 10%. Look at her academically. Yale undergrad and Yale Law School. Sure, that's not quite the University of Maryland, but it's close enough. And look at her poker-wise. 16 World Series cashes, 7 final tables, 2 bracelets. Heck, she's had a positive EV since birth. So trust me, cashing isn't enough for Vanessa. It's just a stepping stone to something bigger.
There is Vanessa Selbst, widely regarded in the poker community as one of, if not the most dangerous no-limit hold'em players in the game. 8 players at her table now, and the only player who can really give her trouble stack-wise is Brian Paris, 2 seats to her right.
When the best player at the table has the most chips and is uber aggressive, you just hold on for dear life.
Daniel Sova playing in his first main event, and with 2 big stacks to his left, this amateur's in a tough spot.
Well, he should do what I do, pretend you look at your cards and then just raise every other hand.
1, 5, and 25,000 are the 3 chips in play presently. Folded 2, Vanessa Selbst, born in Brooklyn. King Jack offsuit.
The Yale Law School graduate plans on taking the bar maybe next year.
A raise to 13,000 to Spanish poker pro Roberto Beitbese. Queen 9 of clubs on the Jack Link's beef jerky hole cam. He is short stacked. He's all in for 39,000. Folded over to the big blind Anthony Harp, 10-6 into the muck. Vanessa needs 26,000 more to call. She does, to put Roberto at risk.
She almost has a smile on her face when she's about to knock somebody out, huh?
The flop 7-6-4, no clubs, all small cards. That misses Beitbese.
King high beats queen high.
Turn card, another 7, brings no relief to our at-risk player.
King high beats queen high.
And the river card is a 5. Roberto Beitbese comes up short and runs out of chips.
King high sends queen high home.
Eliminated here on day 4, wins almost $22,000, his biggest ever poker payday. Selbst up to nearly $1 million, continuing her climb here in Las Vegas, but it's Los Angeles that has her smiling.
When you're a professional poker player, you're traveling all the time. There's tournaments every single day around the world. You can be anywhere in the world pretty much any day of any week. You know, I've done the traveling thing, and that's really awesome and fun, but I also like to figure out a way to stay put some of the time. Here we are. Just moved in about a week ago, so we're still getting something set up. Not the best piece of furniture I've ever purchased.
But it came pre-assembled, which is really nice.
This is the bracelet. This is from 1500 Parliament Omaha event in 2008. It's one of the very first tournaments that I won. It was a pretty significant tournament for me. This is my Miss Pac-Man machine, because I really love Miss Pac-Man. It was kind of the first big purchase I ever made. I was 21 years old. I had been playing online poker for a little while, and I had just sort of built up my bankroll. It's kind of the only really frivolous thing that I've ever bought. New York is where I grew up and where I spent a lot of my time. So to come to LA, you know, and have nice weather and be able to do outdoor activities, but to still have that city environment, that big city feel, is a really nice balance for me. Hopefully being able to come to LA some of the time will maybe keep me grounded a little bit more than I have been in the past.
Vanessa, widely regarded in the gamer community as one of, if not the most dangerous, no-limit Miss Pac-Man players in the world.
Vanessa Selbst under the gun with ace-jack offsuit.
Vanessa, very civic-minded. She donates time to Make the Road by Walking, a nonprofit Brooklyn-based group that assists low-income New Yorkers.
Vanessa with an under-the-gun raise to 13,000. Folded over to the button, Daniel Sova. Sova with ace-king off.
Poker pro Daniel Jungleman Cates held a contest this year in which he awarded a main event seat to someone who filmed the best video showing them doing a good deed. Sova won that contest.
Sova with a re-raise to 32,000. He writes ad copy in Britain like they do in Mad Men. In the big blind, the newest player at the table, Brian Kim, folds. Now back to Selbst. She's got that you re-raised me look. 19,000 more is the call. Should go heads up with Sova.
This is heads up between two good Samaritans.
That's right. The flop now. Queen, Trey, ace, top pair for each. Sova with top kicker also.
It would have been a good time to have ace, queen.
They both check. Turn card. The king of clubs, Selbst with a Broadway draw. Sova gets stronger, turning aces up. Selbst checks again.
As usual, ace queen now would be a loser.
Sova now. He could have used another orange chip. Bets 30,000.
Selbst relies heavily on her post-flop skills. At the moment, she's in some post-flop trouble.
It seems they also have a prop bet going that may involve chip riffling. 30,000 from Sova, now 30,000 from Selbst. 140,000 in the pot. The river card is a jack. Selbst rivers aces up, but her hand is second best. She checks again. Sova with chips in hand again. 39,000 this time.
A small value bet there from the 30-year-old London amateur.
Very small.
You know, if Vanessa had ace-10, she just made Broadway, right?
You are correct.
She doesn't have ace-10, though.
No, she doesn't, but can she get away for just 39,000 more?
Well, it's good pot odds here for Vanessa. She'd be getting 4.5 to 1 on a call.
I call.
She does make the call. And Sova shows her the best hand.
Well played by Daniel Sova. Some nice hard-earned chips from Vanessa Selbst.
And that is a rarity, getting chips off of Selbst. A nice bump to Daniel Sova's chip stack. Vanessa gave up 11% of her stack. She usually gets it right. I have a feeling she'll rebound nicely. 42 years ago, 125,000 people lived in Las Vegas, and the main event consisted of a handful of players. Las Vegas now boasts over 600,000 residents. The main event attracted nearly 6,600 players. Vegas resident Huck Seed is on the ropes, looking to fade elimination at the hands of Robert Lay, who flopped 2 pair to Huck's pair of kings.
Seed's got to have an ace.
And the river card is a 4, and the 96 world champ eliminated here on day 4.
Seed's 4th main event cash. He also final tabled this event in 1999.
A tremendously smart player who flies under the radar while winning a lot of money along the way. So from one veteran rounder to another at the featured table in a day and age where it seems anyone can get a computer and become a poker wizard, Johnny Chan talks about the differences he sees in the modern game.
Nowadays, the competition is so tough because they can play online. In the old day, we only play on a poker table. We can play maybe 1,000 hands a month. Nowadays, they can play 10,000 hands a month online. So it's just a little different. A lot more practice. Poker is all about practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get.
But it's more than just practice. Some of these online young guns have taken poker to another level in terms of math, game theory, different lines on hands.
And Norman, some of the more dedicated online players are playing 100,000 hands per month, so that's a lot of practice. Chan with pocket 9s and a raise to 13,000. Rajkumar not having a productive day, folds to Isaac Barron, 10-8 of hearts.
Barron, one of the young guns you never want to see at your table.
He made the call. That is Anthony Scherer in the small blind. He folds. Frenchman Remy Kukak gives up his big blind.
You know, I just can't see Johnny Chan sitting at home, multi-tabling, sit and goes.
You're right about that. All right, heads up. Here we see the flop now. 6-9 ace, middle set for Johnny Chan. Flush draw and straight draw for Isaac Barron. Chan bets 15,000.
Barron with the big time draws. As we say in the tuxedo business, if you're drawing, you're not dressed yet.
Barron with 13 World Series cashes, 7 WPT cashes, 2 EPT cashes, just calls. Turn card now. The 7 of spades. Barron turns a 10-high straight to seize the advantage. Chan checks this time.
Boy, don't know how Chan is checking there, unless he's check raising.
And now Barron bets 35,000, about half the pot.
And Johnny has dollar signs in his head, but the cash register is not paying him a dime right now.
Johnny Chan reaching for chips. Some of the green chips were 25,000. There is the check raise to 100,000.
Well, at the moment, Barron knows 10-8 for the 10-high straight is the nuts. I don't think he's going to wait around to see if Johnny hits his hand. He's probably going to push.
Isaac Barron trying to get a lot of chips from the 2-time world champ.
I'm all in.
There it is.
All in. All in. Cool.
And a quick call from Chan. And Isaac Barron in great shape for the double up.
Yeah, with that quick call, Johnny Chan in danger of losing 3/4 of his stack.
Chan gonna need to catch something on the river or take a huge hit to his hopes.
Johnny Chan looking for the board to pair against Isaac Barron.
See Johnny shaking his head. He can't believe what he's run into. River card is a jack, and that scores the double up for Isaac Barron.
Barron doubles up. Chan is disgusted. They say the main event is a minefield, and this is what they mean. Chan flopped a monster, and it's impossible to put his opponent on the nuts on the turn.
Johnny Chan just lost almost 80% of his stack in that hand, while Isaac Barron doubling up to 640,000. Barron was born the year Chan won his first main event, and probably influenced by Johnny's role in rounders before Black Friday, Isaac, one of the most prolific online players in the world.
The 07 Online Player of the Year, just as dangerous though offline as online.
He is now the chip leader at this table, finished 418th in the 2010 main event with Queen Jack offsuit, a raise to 13,000.
You know, right now this reminds me a little bit of 2010 when Johnny Chan was in the money with a big stack and on cruise control at the main event, and then a couple of cooler hands and he was out. Johnny just got his first cooler.
On the button, Patrick Kayat with 9-8 folds. Over to Johnny Chan in the big blind. Chan looks down at 5-4 of clubs. Barron has raised from early position. Johnny with the call for 7,000 more.
Chan getting more than 4-1 on a call there, and he'll play from the big blind. Dangerous with a short stack.
Trying to get chips back from Isaac Barron now. Here's the flop. 5-10-7, bottom pair for Johnny Chan. He checks to the razor. Barron missed the flop.
And Barron now wants to bully the small stack.
13,000.
That's 13,000.
Chan caught a piece of that flop. And he's all in for his last 70,000, and Barron gives it up quickly.
Well, as our pal Antonio Esfandiari says, it's hard to hit a pair on the flop. Chan hit a pair and went to work, but losing 300K in one hand and winning 37,000 in another is not the formula for main event success.
Yeah, small victory for Chan. He'll need a lot more of those to last throughout this day 4.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh yeah!
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
526 players still in action here in the Amazon room. David D'Alessandro still the chip leader in the room with over 1.3 million. Antonio Esfandiari just used over 80% of his chips with ace-queen to call the all-in of Trevor Vanderveen holding ace-king.
Antonio gambled with ace-queen, and he's paying the price.
Queen ball, one time, dealer. One time in your life.
No queen, no help to Antonio.
Antonio needs magic or he's going to be very short.
I'm not at an 8 anymore.
Slightly lower.
I'm slightly lower than an 8.
You're down to 7.5.
Vanderveen from Bellingham, Washington, still with the advantage, and he's still ahead after the jack on the turn.
Esfandiari now needs a non-spade queen or Vanderveen doubles up.
The river card is the deuce. That can't help even Esfandiari in his charmed year. Vanderveen with a double up.
And a rare sight this summer in Las Vegas. Antonio pushing chips to somebody else.
Vanderveen up to 368,000.
Stubbalicious. We've got stubbage. Chip in a chair, right? I'm not giving up. I'm taking you all down.
34,000 isn't much. Antonio will need his A magic to survive much longer. A remarkable shot of the World Series bracelet high above the Rio. Back inside the Amazon room, Antonio Esfandiari sits with his short stack waiting for Brian Minders in the red shirt to act with his kings. Dan Hicks already has raised with Queen 8 of spades.
Minders, 27-year-old New Jersey pro who won a limit hold'em bracelet this year.
Minders just calls sneaky for 13,000.
I would like to exercise my raise option. I have that option, right? Okay. I would like to call the 13, and I'd like to raise it.
Antonio's not going all in? Just 26 of his 33,000.
Maybe he's holding on to 7,000 for parking tickets.
Back to Hicks now.
Hicks' final table at a World Series event in 2006.
Yeah, come on, just hold you guys fold one time.
Hicks with the original raise calls. Not sure what he wants to hit playing Queen 8.
Protection.com.
Minders all in.
Protection.
Antonio?
Go on. Thank you. I'm gonna need it.
I hope you finish second.
Oh, I'm gonna call.
Okay.
Wow, he forgot he had the chips in hand.
So now back to Hicks.
You did tank for a while on that.
With a suited Queen 8.
If you flop me the nuts, I will, what will I do? I'll do something. What would you like me to do if you flop me the nuts? How much is it? How much is it? All right, 10,000 towards your daughter's college if you flop me the nuts. You got it. Booked. You got my word.
Nice.
Hicks calls.
Flop me the nuts, baby.
61, I'm up.
You're only 1 in 100.
Flopping 21 in the middle.
He's 1 in 100.
still a great funeral.
It's got to be the nuts. Oh, that's not good for you. Come on, what's your daughter's name? Katie? 10 grand for Katie's college fund. Let's do it.
Antonio loves pre-bribing dealers. Smart magician.
All right, 2 players at risk. Here's the flop. Jack 9-8.
That's not the nuts.
Nope. Dan Hicks with bottom pair and a gut shot can knock the other 2 out.
So, I need an ace. And there it is.
And Antonio takes the lead.
Now just blank the river one time. Just a little deuce. Dewey! Deuce ball. Take a 3. Take a deuce.
The river card. Another 9. Antonio wins it.
Wow, ship the sherbet. Ship the sherbet. He's alive, ladies and gentlemen.
Antonio stays alive, winning the main pot. Minders wins the side pot.
Well, and I didn't have to ship the 10K.
Yeah.
You know,
The best of both worlds.
If
If Antonio cared more about this nation's higher education crisis, he'd still ship the 10K to Katie for a college fund.
Antonio's still alive, but with a modest stack of just $114,000. Let's check in on the lone Hollywood survivor, Kevin Pollak, raking in a pot to go to $252,000.
I think he's now the #1 poker-playing comedian in the world, beyond Ray Romano, Brad Garrett, Gabe Kaplan, even the Wayans brothers, and probably he's #1.
In the dark glasses, Michael Wright shoved for $363,000 after flopping a set. His opponent, Farhan Madhani, flopped top pair, top kicker, and has a big decision to make.
They shave their heads, but they don't shave their faces. Interesting.
He has Wright covered by only 60,000 chips. And he makes the call. So, Michael Wright at risk.
Wright, 37 years old from California. Madhani, 33 from Florida.
Wright the one at risk, but a huge favorite. But most of Madhani's chips are at risk.
Well, that was a suspect call there for almost all his chips.
Madhani walking away from the table. Turn card is a jack, and now Wright sees that Madhani has a Broadway draw.
Madhani looking for a 10.
The river card. Oh, he has the 10! Madhani pulls off the upset and sends Michael Wright out the door.
Another brutal beyond words runner exit at the main event.
Wright eliminated. 522nd, wins almost $25,000. Madhani up to almost 900,000 chips.
One man's disaster is another man's double up.
Boy, you play this game, you play with fire. Be forewarned. Back at the featured table, Johnny Chan battling for survival. He opened raised to $25,000 with ace-jack of clubs. It was folded to Scott Blackman in the big blind with pocket eights.
Blackman started playing poker after he saw rounders.
He re-raises to $85,000. Johnny Chan re-raises all in, and Blackman calls to put Chan at risk.
Chan started his hand with under 20 big blinds. Johnny now in a race for his main event life.
So Scott Blackman trying to knock off the last back-to-back main event champ. Chan had been cruising here on day 4 before Isaac Barron took most of his chips. Here is the flop now with Chan at risk. Oh, a pair of jacks and 2 clubs, a great flop for the champ.
And Johnny nods at that flop like that's what was supposed to happen.
Turn card. 7 of spades. Chan now 1 card from a critical double up.
It's 100.
And
Yeah,
Johnny
117.
counting his chip stack before the river. I guess he doesn't believe in one-outers.
Blackman cutting out the chips to pay him off. The river card is another 7, and Chan turns ace-jack into 245,000 chips.
He could only hit one of his outs.
Yeah, that was a 3 across the heart.
And with 40 big blinds now, Johnny Chan's got some breathing room.
Yeah, he's not a big stack again just yet. And while Scott Blackman had a shot, he could not knock out Chan, who's showing he still has some main event life. The main event is full of emotional highs and lows. Michael Wright was a 13-1 favorite, but that wasn't favored enough. Johnny Chan lost with a flop set, but is on the road to recovery here on day 4. Daniel Negreanu has had his share of ups and downs this year, but he tries to stay even-keeled, and he does that with help from a surprising source.
Welcome, ESPN, to my home away from home during the World Series of Poker. It is a grind, as you know. We're here for like 6 weeks, so it's nice to have a little bit of comfort. Got random people lounging. I don't even know who this guy is. He just kind of showed up. Little couch area. Most importantly, since I'm a vegan, we got, I know what this looks like. This is actually kale chips, okay? I know what you're thinking. Got all kinds of bars. And then my assistant Patty, she cooks up a storm. Got all my vegan goodies up in here. And for dinner breaks and stuff, head all the way back through. And it's a 90-minute dinner break. I'm already hooked up for food, so I use that to rest up. And so this is where well, there's no magic that happens here, but this is the little bedroom here. And of course, it's got a bathroom, the whole deal, a couple big screen TVs. So it's comfortable, you know? It's definitely worth it because it's the World Series of Poker, most important time of the year. I give it my all and be as prepared as I can.
I'll be honest with you, between his blogs, tweets, video logs, and RV tours, I know more about Daniel Negreanu's life than I do my own. Enough already!
He's in a hand with Sam Savarel. Negreanu's ace-high is best after the flop. The Savarel picked up a gut shot. Daniel bet 17,000. Savarel made the call. Queen of diamonds on the turn. Savarel takes the lead with top pair. He checks.
Daniel has actually chipped up to about 600,000.
With the diamond draw, he bets 31,000. Savarel, a 21-year-old from Tampa, makes the call.
Of course, I never get a massage, but I have to watch Daniel get a massage. I've even seen Daniel's underwear drawer in one of his video logs.
River card is a 6 of spades. Savarel is best with his pair of queens. He checks a third time.
And Daniel checks to make sure he still has nothing.
But he's reaching. And he puts chips in the middle, 68,000.
That's a pretty good board for Negreanu to bluff on. He's got that reputation for playing middle range cards. So many hands could beat Savarel here. Savarel is getting more than 3-1 on a call here, but it's for nearly 40% of his remaining stack.
Savarel giving this some thought.
9-10 suited into a bluff.
Savarel lays down the best hand.
It's nice to be a vegan with an RV, getting massage, bluffing the river, and dragging in chips.
Daniel now over 700,000 here on day 4 of the main event. So the 4-time bracelet winner collecting chips, looking very chipper indeed as he's picking up ground on the chip leaders. Back at the secondary feature table where Vanessa Selbst sits with 843,000 chips. She's got the biggest stack at this table and one of the biggest in the room.
And like a Phil Ivey or a Phil Hellmuth, she just has a presence at the table.
All right, Vanessa looks down at the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Good luck with this one, partner.
I'm on it, Lon.
All right, Vanessa under the gun with a raise again to 13,000.
It's min raise like. I think she's got a real hand here. A, pocket eights, or D, ace king suited.
All right. Paul Seam with king queen offsuit.
I'd throw it away.
41-year-old recently became a U.S. citizen. He calls.
Well, he decides he's going to outplay Vanessa post flop with king queen off in position.
Mark Karam with ace-4 of clubs. Canadian pro has more than doubled his stack today.
I'd fold.
He calls.
Comes along with the weak ace. I never like that. you know, Lon, the key to Jack Link's wild card hand success? Repetitions. I deal out thousands of hands to myself at home, and guess what I have before I look?
All right. So folded around to Brian Kim on the big blind. King 10 off. He folds.
Good fold.
So 3 players will see the flop. Vanessa Selbst with the original raise, followed by Paul Seam and Mark Karam. The flop, 8 queen ace. Karam catches his best card. Middle pair for Paul Seam. Vanessa Selbst, continuation bet of 21,000.
I think she has a set of eights or top pair, top kicker.
Seam, who we know has a pair of queens, calls for 21,000. Now Karam with the aces.
See, with a pair of queens here, you're beaten by aces, and with the weak ace, you're beaten by any ace. And even if Vanessa doesn't have you beat right now, she can atomic blast you on the turn and river on a nuclear whim.
So the other guy should just fold right now?
They should fold and eat some Skittles.
81. Karam announces a raise.
Well, Karam disagrees with me, and frankly, he should know better than I.
He raised it to 81,000. Now Selbst makes the call for 60,000 more.
Well, I believe she would have re-raised there with a set, and she would have folded B, so I've got her on C or D, and I'm leaning to D.
Seam gets out of the hand, folding his queen. So heads up, Karam and Vanessa Selbst. Turn card now is another queen. Paul Seam just cringed. His third queen came, and he's on the sidelines.
You know, I'm 3 for 7 on wild card hands. I'm knocking on the door of greatness.
Selbst checks.
I still think it's C or D for her.
So far you've picked A, C, and D. Karam checks back.
You sit in my seat and try to make these picks.
The river card, tray of spades, does not improve Karam. Selbst looks at her opponent. And that's a stack of orange and then some 110,000.
It's a value bet or a value bet bluff. I'm going to stick with a real hand, ace king.
Alrighty.
Oh, ace king.
And a call, and ace king is right. And she wins the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand with aces up. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott bringing you Day 4 coverage of the 2012 World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Just before the break, Vanessa Selbst made her presence known even more, crossing the million-chip barrier. Other women doing well include Norwegian Elizabeth Hill.
I don't even look at a woman until she's got 1 million chips, Lon.
Poker pro Susie Zhao.
Less than 600,000 chips? Don't even know her.
And last year's 85th place finisher Claudia Crawford.
Roll Tide.
Here's Kara on some of the other women remaining.
Women make up a very small percentage of the field, so one of the milestones that we keep an eye on is last woman standing. Some of the notables left in the field: poker professional Maria Ho, end of day 2 chip leader Gail Bowman, Kathy Hong, who's an accomplished player in her own right, and also the longtime girlfriend of Elke, and of course Vanessa Selbst, who's sitting here on our secondary feature table.
Thanks, Kara. Vanessa routinely mentioned as one of the top players in the game today. New to this table, Danny Johnson. You may remember him from a mic check we did earlier. He's hard to forget.
I've been trying to forget him.
Mahalo. Don't do it. You must piss so many people off. Oh my God, if you're over 50, you hate me. Defense. Sorry guys. Can't believe I'm such a nit. Honestly, can't believe it.
He tells people he's retired, though I don't know what he's retired from.
So where's everybody from here anyways? Let's get that out of the way.
I'm New York.
New York? Are you really? I thought you were European, honestly.
I was born in Europe.
Okay, okay.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, where are you from?
Tampa.
Tampa, all right. How about you over there?
Excuse me.
Canada.
Where?
Canada. Where in Canada?
Ottawa.
Ottawa, okay, okay. How about you, where are you from, man?
Detroit. 13,000.
Detroit? Oh, Michigan represent. What about you over there in the 9 seat?
London, UK.
London. B. Paris, where are you from? California. Where are you from, Vanessa? New York? I'm from Vancouver, BC, but I live in Hawaii, so we'll get that out of the way. And everyone's Dan here, so I just call somebody Dan. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
The odds are you'll be correct if you just
Yeah,
Dan.
I like it. Pretty easy to remember.
This is like a bad group date.
Sova open raised at 13,000 with ace-10. Vanessa Selbst with 5-4 of hearts.
Strong name, right?
From middle position, she re-raises to 29,000.
And she just goes about her business of 3-betting with 5-4.
This is pretty much how you join a poker table, the way Danny Johnson's joining this table.
Mahala.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folded back around to Sova, the initial raiser.
Sova's still trying to remember where everybody's from.
These two tangled earlier. Sova got the best of Vanessa that time, and here he makes the call.
Well, if ace-10 off pairs you that much, he should have just mucked it. I mean, do you see the angst Vanessa causes you? And she's got 5-4.
Well, Vanessa outflops Sova, catching a pair of 5s. Sova checks it to Vanessa.
If Vanessa doesn't bet here, I will backpack cross-country with Danny Johnson.
Oh boy, like that's gonna happen. 31,000 is the bet, and Sova gets rid of it.
Boy, Sova couldn't wait to get rid of that hand. The stress is over, and I don't have to backpack with Danny.
Vanessa's girlfriend, Miranda Forster, will be around the Rio for a long time if Vanessa keeps rolling like she is.
The great thing about Vanessa Selbst's game, she's got about 17 ways to win pots.
I really came to the best seat in the whole tournament. It's not even close. Like, just one of the best players in the world with all the chips to my left. What a dream.
We saw Ben Lamb suffer sitting to Vanessa's right. Now Danny Johnson gets the same privilege. He received his MBA from Hawaii Pacific University. Johnson had a lot of success playing poker online, but this is his first ever World Series cash.
I don't work. I guess you'd call it unemployed, but when you love life as much as I do, we'd call it retired. Because I just don't stress. I just live life, you know? Just enjoy everything I do.
As he mentioned, he was born in Canada, but they might have tossed him out of the country just because he irritated them.
He's known in the islands by his mashing of the slang word hala with the Hawaiian word mahalo to get mahala. Ace-9 for Danny.
He does a lot of online coaching. I'd love to sit in on those sessions.
A raise to 13,000. Now to Vanessa with queens.
Vanessa is way more dangerous with premium hands than most players because she never gets credit.
How much do you have?
About 110 to start the hand, I believe.
He had exactly 110,000 to start the hand, so the man is somewhat credible.
He's the short stack at this table.
Vanessa, another of a growing legion of players who think best with their left hand on their right shoulder.
Vanessa reaching for more than 13,000, a re-raise to 25,000. So we're raising a re-raise, and the rest of the table folds. Back to Johnson.
Well, you win.
And he folds. Vanessa can win with nothing. She can win with big pocket pairs.
Just needle me if you like. No, you don't want to? Okay.
Can't. I wish I could.
Vanessa frustrated her pocket queens, didn't produce bigger winnings.
If I'm raise folding, I should probably just open fold. But I'm the best.
Vanessa takes a small pot, but she ran into the game's best folder, Danny Johnson. Mahala. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Doyle Brunson's son Todd fell just short in the 5K stud high-low event, losing to Adam Friedman, who brought his career World Series earnings to nearly $700,000. Matt Matros amazingly won a bracelet for the third consecutive year, this time in the $1,500 six-handed no-limit hold'em event.
It's completely insane, bizarre, unexpected. I mean, I can't even pick the adjectives. I mean, the unlikelihood of it is just off the charts.
By the way, Matros and Michael Mizrachi both have won a bracelet in each of the last 3 years. Tough to do.
Back at the featured table, Johnny Chan has played his way back up to 253,000 chips, still below the chip average of 400,000. Plus, Michael Esposito joining the table now from Seaford, New York.
Nothing like being moved to a new table, and Johnny Chan is to your immediate left.
Esposito under the gun on the Jackling Speed Jerky hole cam, 10-4 into the muck. Johnny Chan folds 5-4. Vivek Rajkumar now with 9-7 suited. Rajkumar raises to 14,000. Anthony Scherer with the shades.
I'll give Scherer the benefit of the doubt and assume those shades were on sale, but sometimes you just got to pay full retail.
He is a self-described ski bum living in Truckee, California, near Lake Tahoe.
Well, he studied mechanical engineering at MIT and was part of the MIT blackjack team along with Andy Block.
Scherer calls for 14,000.
We've got some brain power in this hand because Vivek Rajkumar graduated with 2 degrees from the University of Washington before his 19th birthday.
Blackman gives up his small blind. Kayat in the big blind with ace tray of spades.
And Kayat has a master's degree in international finance from one of the foremost business schools in Europe, HEC Paris.
This may be the highest level poker hand ever played at the World Series.
Oh, this is the equivalent of a Rhodes Scholar poker hand.
All right, 3 players, very smart. We'll see the flop.
One with ridiculous sunglasses, one with sharp sunglasses, and one with regular glasses.
39-year-old Scherer with the advantage right now with a suited ace-jack. 5-8 trade 2 clubs. Scherer with the flush draw is favored. Bottom pair for Kayat. He checks. A gut shot for Rajkumar.
Can't you just hear their brains at work?
Oh, man. So many levels happening with the 5-8 tray. Rajkumar reaching for chips. Will try to befuddle the other two. He bets 26,000. That's genius.
Vivek takes a stab at it.
Scherer now. Oh, Scherer, I like that raise, 70,000.
Scherer takes a bigger stab at it.
Kayat now.
One genius has got to leave eventually.
Currently, he's got the best hand with a pair of trays, but he folds. Rajkumar gives up his hand, and Scherer will stack the winnings.
Advantage MIT.
Scherer may have picked up the pot, but if his opponents were watching, they may have picked up some tells.
There's no question about it. Sometimes what we see is not necessarily what we think it is. And in this case, look at Anthony. We have his chest heaving. Now, some players do that when they're really strong, and in this case, there's a good likelihood that he is, but maybe he recognizes it, and so the next behavior is really dramatic. You see him grab his shirt, and he's using it like a security blanket, almost to hide in the open by grabbing onto something that is soothing for him.
Okay, if I could zoom in slow motion Anthony Scherer's heaving chest, I guess I could make a lot of money in the long run.
Back to Antonio Esfandiari, scratching and clawing to keep his main event alive.
One time.
I'm a big believer in the secret. I really appreciate nobody else putting any negative energy out there for kings or anything else like that. So,
King ball.
He's all in again with King Queen, trying to run down Michael Shelton, who has Ace Queen off.
Shelton, 30-year-old from Connecticut, volunteer basketball coach at Wesleyan University.
blank.
King ball.
I don't know how Antonio can keep asking for cards in the wake of his $18 million score here at the World Series.
Just an ace in window, sir, to be honest with you.
No, there's no ace.
All right, here's
One
the
time in your
flop.
life.
Antonio at risk. Jack 7-9. Antonio picks up a gut shot.
10 ball? Is there a 10 in there?
A tray doesn't help.
This is a pretty gross moment. One card to come for your tournament life in the main event, World Series of Poker.
He needs a 10 or a king.
The river card. Another tray, allowing Michael Shelton to win the hand and make the
That's it, right?
magician
It's over?
disappear.
This is the end? That's it, right? I have to get up and leave now?
Wait, does Steve come?
And the massage is over, too.
She gets shorted.
All right, guys. Nice playing with you all.
Inside the Amazon room, which is now missing the all-time winningest tournament player, Antonio Esfandiari. It was on this stage a short while ago. He won the big one for one drop.
You know what I always say on day 4, Lon?
What's that?
Boy, time flies.
The payout jumps are front and center on many players' minds. Others know a serious run to the final table is a possibility. The main event, final table on ESPN, October 29th and 30th.
What a grueling event this is, Lon. You play for 7 long, stressful days, essentially from noon to past midnight every day to make that final table.
Esposito with a raise to 14,000 to Johnny Chan on his left in the big blind.
Esposito, a 43-year-old commodities broker.
Chan with pocket jacks.
Pocket jacks for Johnny Chan. You can't make him work, Lon, but I bet he can.
That's true. Chan repops it to 40,000 and Esposito grimaces.
He doesn't like to see Johnny come back over the top.
Guess I should have won. Nice one.
And Esposito finally folds.
Shows a king.
Johnny Chan fighting back.
Nice one.
Jacks?
Yes.
Jacks. Nice answer.
Chan dropped below 90,000 not too long ago. Now back over 300,000. Back over to the secondary table. Action folded to Brian Paris on the button he lays down. Danny Johnson, small blind.
All in.
9-8 of clubs, all in.
All of it.
How much is
Put
it?
them on deck. It's about 10 big lines.
75,000 is the all-in.
I think Vanessa might call us all in with 2 cocktail napkins to rid herself of her chatty neighbor.
Mahalo.
It's for 5% of her stack.
We got him.
I'm not sure why she's taking this long.
Vanessa with a suited ace does make the call to put Johnson at risk.
No, I was just making sure. I just wanted to see this.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't taking. I just.
That's a good hand. Mahalo, though. And the clubs.
Vanessa trying to score another knockout.
Well, here's a tell. Vanessa won't even look at or turn toward Danny Johnson.
Danny Johnson at risk.
You know, he seems like an animated character. And I mean a real cartoon character.
In his mind, the song Always Look on the Bright Side of Life is constantly playing. And there's an ace in the flop for Selbst.
10 clubs. We got a sweat.
The over 50 crowd likes that flop.
10 clubs would be phenomenal. Gotta sweat it, right?
Always.
All right, here's the turn card. The 6 of spades, that ends it. Johnson drawing dead. Selbst takes the last of his chips.
At the casino payout desk, he'll probably ask everyone where they're from to get that out of the way.
Danny Johnson makes his exit with his first ever World Series of Poker cash.
Larry Beal taught me aloha means goodbye.
443rd, worth almost $29,000 to Johnson. Meanwhile, Selbst all business as she continues to successfully navigate the dangerous waters of the main event. Whether young or old, accomplished or amateur, poker players share the same dream. Play in the World Series of Poker Main Event.
The main event is just the most special tournament you could ever find.
When I was 13 years old and I was watching poker on TV, I always wanted to grow up and play in the main event.
For me, seeing that kind of joy reminds me about what this is all about, and it's about fun.
Once play begins, it becomes about making a deep run.
I was nervous last year. This year, not so much.
I just take every day as it comes, and it's a step-by-step thing.
But when is it okay to fantasize about winning the main event?
A win here would be unbelievable.
It's really huge, and having such a good start, I really enjoy it.
Someone has to win it, and he or she is in this room. All right, let's get right to the action. Mara Fiati has made 2 World Series final tables, finishing 5th and 2nd. The blinds at 4 and 8,000. Mara Fiati with pocket jacks and a raise to 21,000. Keith Johnson with pocket 4s. Mucks it.
Ceylon, you would have played the pocket 4s, but not the jacks.
Exactly. Doug Klevitz with ace queen says all in for 103,000.
Klevitz, a 35-year-old Connecticut poker pro, pushes with 12 big blinds left. Klevitz min-cashed in the 2010 main event.
The blinds full. Mara Fiati with the jacks.
I'm sorry, New York.
Oh, did Peter Parker need to save Gotham?
I call.
And a call with a pocket jacks, and Doug Klevitz at risk with 2 overcards.
And half of Mara Fiati's chips will be in the middle.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
I'm sorry.
A critical pot to each player. Klevitz at risk. Here is the flop, and there's an ace. Klevitz takes the big advantage.
Klevitz can enjoy that flop. Mara Fiati must stew in his own juices.
Turn card now with Mara Fiati now looking for help. And the deuce does not bring it.
Mara Fiati has to have a jack to knock out Doug Klevitz.
The river card, the king of diamonds, and Klevitz for the win, doubles up.
Nice hand.
And pocket jacks go down the drain again.
Who didn't see that coming? Henry Tran back in the seat, as you can see. Matt down to 109,000 now.
I counted it out, sir, just for you.
Like I said, I couldn't go to the final table if I lose that hand, so I have to win.
In a now cozier field of 442 players, it's a little easier to recall once unknown faces and playing styles. We know Daniel Negreanu and Vanessa Selbst. Their stories and successes are well documented. But 2 players you might remember for different reasons are at the featured table tonight. Henry Tran and Matt Mara Fiati, both Canadian, both outspoken, and both trying to play and talk their way into a deep run.
But Lon, the way these 2 guys play, it's as if they're talking a different language. Henry Tran won a huge pot earlier in this main event with deuce 3. Meanwhile, you might need a court order to get Matt Mara Fiati to play anything worse than pocket jacks. Right now, Tran is 2nd overall in chips, but that can change quickly because he gambles a lot with all sorts of cards. On the other hand, Mara Fiati is nursing a shorter stack. Maybe he should take a shot with deuce 3.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high rollerball 7 champion.
Oh, yeah!
Wheels are coming off.
That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that bite?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
Over at the secondary table, the top stack there, and 6th overall is Vanessa Selbst, trying to win her 2nd bracelet of the summer. With over 1.3 million. Action folded to Vanessa.
Vanessa has built a fortress to protect her cards. I believe the moat comes on day 5.
With King 8 offsuit, raised to 17,000. Andrew Barta on the Jack Link's beef jerky hole cam. Folds 8 deuce.
By the way, it seems Yale Law School was pretty easy. Vanessa got this good at poker and still graduated.
Good point. In the big blind, Anthony Harb from Canton, Michigan, a poker pro with 1 bracelet. 10-9 off.
He graduated from Schoolcraft College in Livonia, Michigan. I believe they are the Golden Gophers.
He calls for 9,000 more.
You know, Lon, I've been thinking lately, why does the flop have to be 3 cards? Let's change the game a little, make the flop 2 cards, then the turn would be 2 cards, then the river.
Boy, I like that. 10, ace, ace, pair of 10s with the 2 aces on board for Harb. He checks to the razor.
Or we could add a betting round, a 2-card flop, then 1-1-1, so you'd have the flop, the turn, the peekaboo, and then the river.
Wow, the pots would get huge. 10,000 from Selbst, a call from Harb with the best hand.
Yeah, and I think Vanessa would benefit from 1 more betting round and Hold'em. That's another chance for her to bully her opponents.
That jack gives Selbst a Broadway draw. Harb checks. And that again will open the door for Vanessa Selbst. She bets 22,000.
With any picture card, she'd make the best hand.
Harb gives up the hand. Tough to continue with all that going on.
Well, Harb thought she had it. He was wrong.
And as we have seen so often in this main event, Vanessa Selbst collecting chips approaching 1.4 million now. Let's go to an outer table. French-born Gail Bowman with aces in position to send Fabio Luongo off to join his famous brother on the rail. He shoved with pocket fours.
She started day 3 as the chip leader. Lots of buff poker players this year. I don't get it. I'm in the Rio Health Club every day, and I never see these people.
You don't even know where the health club is. 8 Jack deuce, miss, miss, miss for Luongo.
And Luongo now is going to need a 4 on the turn or the river.
The turn card now. 7 of diamonds. Bowman still ahead. Luongo down perhaps to his final card.
He's got to have a 4.
It is an 8.
Goodbye.
And he says goodbye very quickly with pocket aces. Gail Bowman does the deed.
Well, both brothers now gone, both with an impressive main event. Roberto finished 634th, Fabio 418th.
And earning almost $10,000 more than his brother. Gail Bowman coming close to joining Selbst as the only women in the main event Millionaires Club as Fabio Luongo heads off to collect his first ever World Series paycheck. Knowing the opponents at your table is crucial in No Limit Hold'em, but tonight Matt Marifiati only knows Henry Tran.
Today, Henry Tran is at the table, and ironically, we're both from Toronto. He's a semi-professional poker player and father, good family man, and has a normal job as well. He drove me to Turning Stone, so we went to this tournament together in Syracuse. It was a 5K tournament, and me, him, and one other player went together from Toronto. We all final tabled the tournament. Other than that, I'm not familiar with anyone on my table, actually, so it should be an interesting time.
They both like to talk, but they have contrasting styles of play.
Action underway at this table. Henry Tran has won the pot.
Can you please show your cards? I'm going to give those back
to
to you.
show his cards to the whole cam once more.
I'm sorry? You have to show these cards to the camera, please.
I don't think I have to show, do I?
Yes, you do.
Why? I want to see a Wigman. I think I already saw them. That's enough.
They didn't see him clearly. They asked me to show these.
No, I want to see that release. You know, is that like, do I have to? I mean, I think, okay, how about this?
Yes, you have to, Henry.
Henry's a little shy about that.
But you have to show them both.
No, why?
Because you signed the release that says when you play at the World Series and you're on a feature table that you have to show both cards.
Okay, show me that agreement that I signed.
Looking at you, England.
Please. Yeah, I want to see that.
Well, as a condition of participation in the main event, you see each player consents to disclosure of their hole cards. It's nothing new, but apparently Henry unaware of that particular clause.
Well, in Henry Tran's defense, it's like when you get a rental car agreement. Nobody's reading any of that stuff before you sign on the dotted line. You could be agreeing to give away your firstborn if you run a red light, for all you know.
All right, so Tran has gotten the word, and we'll continue play here at the feature table.
Oh, I'm big blind.
Thank you.
Shilan, if you make the flop 2 cards, it's a different game, a more fascinating game.
No steal piece.
Who's going to steal from you?
That's why I asked.
Folded to Chanrishi Kuhn.
Jacks again.
Tens the University of Montreal. And with 7-6 of spades, a raise to 18,000.
This time I called. He had ace queen.
Oh, yeah?
18,000.
Folded to Tran.
How much chip you have there?
And the big blind Tran asking for a count on Kuhn stack.
440.
You may remember Henry from this rugby shirt that he wore on day 3.
Your turn. No, I'm serious.
It's your turn, Colin.
I have to show them. Let me where you show.
Have to show.
Come on, man.
What?
Hurry up.
No, it's not 2 minutes. You want to count time? Where is the 2 minutes to count time?
All
right. You want? They have to see it.
All right, I'll be quiet for now.
Ace-6.
Thank you, Henry.
Ace-6, Henry.
Sorry, guy. This is gonna be a long, long one.
That's not a good sign.
What?
Henry with the call.
Well, call in progress.
Yeah, that's true. 1 chip at a time. And he'll go up against Kuhn.
2 more, please.
2 more?
18 total, yeah.
Can I take it back?
I'm sorry, at this time you cannot.
Oh, Henry with a stalling tactic.
Honestly, man, look at my stack. Stop. Seriously, it's not funny. I wait every year for the main event. Just stop. Come on. I didn't.
But sorry,
this
man.
isn't my fault.
Okay,
But
that's
it's not my
how it will
fault.
be, okay?
Just wait a minute.
You, if they're 2 minutes now, you're gonna come home.
You need to play this hand, and after this hand, you and I are gonna have a conversation, okay?
Sure, yeah.
It's tournament director Jack Effel. Both players flop to 6. Henry has a better kicker. He checks. And Kuhn with 21,000.
The 2-1-1-1 board format would be great, Lon. Flop, turn, peekaboo, river. Peekaboo, it's the 10 of clubs. I love it. Then again, if Henry Tran's in the pot, each hand would take an hour.
Henry with some leftover anger, it seems, from being forced to show his cards. He calls. All right, turn card. 5 of clubs. Tran still leads. He checks again. Kuhn now with an up and down straight draw.
Kuhn studies business at the University of Montreal.
Feature table.
Also cashed at the EPT Grand Final in Monte Carlo this year. And now bets 36,000.
Boy, if it's ever heads up between Kuhn and Tran for a bracelet, it's going to be a 24-hour affair. I've been a long-time proponent of a shot clock in poker. I once was going to call it the John Fan clock, but maybe it should be the Henry Tran clock.
A recheck of his hole cards. Boy, Henry warned us this was going to be one long hand. He was right. We'll take a break and come back and see what he does.
You have to show these cards to the camera, please.
I don't think I have to show, do I?
But you have to show them both.
No, why?
Because that's, you signed the release.
Okay, show me that agreement that I signed. The guy for you. Who took the chip?
It's your turn, come on.
This is going to be long.
Hey man, look at my stack. Stop. Seriously,
Well-
it's not funny. I wait every year for the main event. Just stop.
If they're in 2 minutes now, you're going to come
You need to play this hand, and after this hand, you and I are going to have a conversation, okay?
Sure, yeah.
Just play this hand.
Yeah.
It's been interesting for Henry Tran so far. Once this hand is over, we'll find out what tournament director Jack Effel has in store for him.
How much do you say you have behind?
I told you already before the hand, 430.
430?
I wouldn't answer that question twice.
Who is that, 36?
36 it is.
Yeah, it's 36, Henry.
Clock.
Now, Matt just called a clock on Henry Tran.
Well, look at the relatively small size of this pot. Lives are not at stake here, and we're just on the turn. If this hand goes to the river, players here are going to have to be looking at timeshares in Las Vegas.
So what the clock called, Henry Tran has a finite amount of time to make his decision. If he doesn't act, his hand will be dead.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got it,
Give the pot to Kuhn.
We all know he's gonna fold. And he's always taking some time.
Tran took the maximum time to get bluffed.
So, what are you having issues with here in the game? So you had said you didn't want to show your whole cards.
Yeah.
But when you signed your player release, you acknowledge that you play by the rules of our tournament. And our tournament says that it will be recorded and published and through various mediums and media. That such publications shall include, but shall not be limited to, publications of a participant's whole cards.
Yeah, but I acknowledge that, but there's nowhere saying that I have to show it.
You have to show. So
There's nowhere say that you have to show the whole card because.
So Henry, here's a decision. You can sit over here until you decide to show your whole cards, and I'll just let your chips blind away until you decide. And I don't care how long that takes. I don't care how long that takes until you run out of chips.
Okay,
until you want to show your cards. Now listen, that's number one. Second thing. You sat and you took a really long time for that hand. You gave this guy a hard time over here while I was sitting at the table. Your tone and what you used with him, to me, it sounded rude.
Okay, I don't see any word rule in there. I just asked him who took in your chip. That's all. Is that rule?
Right.
You understand English? I mean, it's very common.
Hey, listen, I can make you sit out here for as long as I need to.
I know.
You want to say that I'm rude? I think
no,
you're rude.
I did not say a rule.
Okay,
I'm asking you.
Let's start with a round, okay? Listen.
I'm just asking you.
Comes back around, I'll let you play. Right now, you can't play. When you're ready to talk, you come talk, and I might let you sit back down to play. I might.
What are you talking about?
I'll think about it.
What are you talking about?
Tran has been assessed a one-round penalty.
What's his deal anyway? Why does he hate it so much? Like, what's the problem?
You are not acting appropriately at that table. You were rude to me. You said, do I understand English, is what you said to me. And that got you a one-round penalty. So anything else you want to try to make you sit out longer and lose more chips?
I said that what I said is nothing rule because I just asked the guy who took the chip.
You asked me if I know how to speak English. I understand
No, I
English.
did not say you are speaking.
Okay, well, that's why I took it. So guess what? Listen, you're on a one-round penalty. You're going to show your whole cards. You're going to be respectful of that table. table. You can come back when the round comes back around, and if you decide you don't want to do that, I can let you sit out here to the side until all of your chips are gone.
Jack Effel with a little Joey Crawford in him. Tees up Henry Tran. Henry's got to sit out one round.
So the feature table without Tran for 9 hands. Over to the secondary featured table. You see 394 players left in the main event. That includes Henry Tran. Action here will begin on Brian Paris from Laguna Beach, California. He's got the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Good thing it's not Henry Tran. We'd never find out what his cards are.
A raise to 18,000 from Paris.
He's an online guy, UC Irvine grad, under the gun. I'll just take D, Jack 10.
Yeah, those online guys tend to be quite creative.
Yeah, but I don't even know who this Brian Paris is. I don't know how he plays, and I don't understand No Limit Hold'em. What are my chances of figuring out his hand?
Daniel Sova in the big blind, 10-8 of hearts, makes the call.
Well, why don't you just let me guess Sova's hand? We have history with him, plus he's an advertising copywriter. That's a field I appreciate.
All right, the flop is 6-8 ace. Sova with the middle pair and a flush draw. He checks.
Sova, you may recall, won his main event seat from the Daniel Cates video contest.
Brian Paris bets 28,000 on that board.
28,000? That's aggressive. It can't be Jack 10. I'm switching to A, B, or C.
Sova, an Englishman with a degree in English, makes the call.
Well, I wish Sova had check raised there. Then we would have found out in a hurry what Paris's hand is.
All right, turn card now. Deuce of spades. No improvement to Sova's hand. He checks again.
What a worthless card. I want all the deuces and threes taken out of the deck before the turn in the river.
Paris with chips in hand again. This time 65,000.
Another good-sized bet. I don't know. He might be a reasonable guy. He might be a maniac. I'm sticking with A, B, or C.
That's too wide a range, I'm sorry, for Mr. Jack Links. All right, Sova with the pair of eights and a flush draw.
By the way, whatever Paris has, this counts as a defeat for me, as you're pointing out. I have no idea.
All right, I'm marking it a loss. A call from Sova.
Well, you know, I should throw out B, the 9-5, but I just don't trust this guy in that shirt.
The river card. Tray of spades. Sova missed his draw.
Tray of spades. Get rid of all the deuces and trays from the deck on the turn of the river. It kills the action.
Status quo. Checked to Paris.
All right, if Paris bets here, he's either got it or he doesn't. And I'm saying definitively, Lon, I do not know.
He's betting. Big bet. 153,000.
Another sizable bet. Sova missed his draw. Tough spot here for a lonely pair of eights.
Sova with a peek at his cards. And he folds. And Paris with the pocket sixes flopped the set, winning the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Pocket sixes? Who didn't know that?
You didn't?
Hey, these Jack Link's wild card hands are taking 2 years off the back end of my life.
Paris inflates his chip stack to 833,000 here on day 4 of the main event. And Norman, better luck to you next time. Current payout about 28,500. The next pay bump will increase the payouts by over $4,000. Norway's Elizabeth Hill is all in with Queen. She's ahead after the flop. American Greg Merson trying to score the knockout with his pocket tens. Hill still ahead after that turn card. Merson picked up a straight draw. The river card, the 5 of diamonds, and Elizabeth Hill will double up.
Big double up for her. And the fella from the great state of Maryland in deep trouble now, under 15 big blinds.
Timely double up for Hill. She's up to 770,000.
And Merson texting the bad news to Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley.
Falling to 112,000.
I was trying not to have to do that.
Huh?
I was trying not to have to do that by just calling for you. But
Elizabeth Hill remains alive and a factor in this main event, but it's Henry Tran stealing the spotlight tonight. He's due to come back to the table after the break. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. This is the main event, day 4. There's a look at current chip leader Ben Greenberg. He isn't doing it alone, though. He has an important railbird, and she's with Kara Scott right now.
Ben has a big chip lead at the moment, and I have his wife here. McCall, you just flew in to see him, right?
I did, yeah. I just got here at 6. Checked into the hotel room and have been watching him ever since, so.
It must be an incredible feeling to watch someone you love go deep in an event like this. What would it mean to him to win this?
It's just, you know, a lot of validation. He's done a lot online and had a lot of success there, but he hasn't really done anything significant live, and I think it's overdue. So I don't know. I'm really excited about it.
In terms of nerves for the person who's watching, who's doing the railing, how is that? Because you can't see the cards. You don't know whether he wants a call, doesn't want a call.
It was, so when I was at home, it was so much easier because I'm just like getting Twitter updates. And then now that I'm here, it's a lot more stressful for sure.
Still a lot of fun though.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, best of luck to him. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
David Balkin just called the pre-flop raise of Ben Greenberg, who leads with ace-10 to Balkin's king-queen. Here's the flop, 7-10-5, a pair of tens for Greenberg. Balkin missed, and he checks it.
Ben broke a bone in his left hand playing softball. The third base coach, a friend of his, waved him home on a play. The ball got there 10 feet before Ben. He tried to dive and hit the catcher's leg, and that was that.
Wow, a bet of $28,000 right-handed from Greenberg, and Balkin folds, and our chip leader gets a little healthier.
You know, I'm a litigious type, but if I were Ben, I might sue my friend, the third base coach, though maybe oddly the broken hand has helped his poker game.
So Balkin joins many, many others who have contributed to build the biggest stack in the room, which still belongs to Ben Greenberg. When you're in the Amazon room, take a look up and see the banner celebrating Johnny Chan's back-to-back main event wins. Chan's still very much alive here with 511,000 chips.
And this is Johnny's second deep main event run in 3 years.
Actor Kevin Pollak hanging around also on day 4. He's got a below-average stack, but doesn't seem too concerned about that.
No, he's just happy he's been ranked the #1 poker-playing comedian in the world.
You see, with 819,000 chips, Joseph Chung trying to become the first two-time November Niner. And back at the feature table, Henry Tran's time in the sin bin's over.
He looks no worse for the wear, though it's possible someone just called a clock on him in the restroom.
Don't take that on me, Henry. Don't take that on me.
It cost Henry $21,000 and missed blinds and antes. Here's a closer look at the man who took over the role of villain here at the feature table. A wife, 3 children, a college degree, and an engineer. Where did it all go wrong for Henry?
He was born in Vietnam, came to Canada in 1985, won the 2005 World Series Circuit Championship in Atlantic City, beating Erick Lindgren heads up.
You saw that right here on ESPN. You see Henry 6th overall. Greenberg the leader with almost 1.9 million. But Henry with a very healthy chip stack.
Can I have a walk?
He's asking for a walk in the big blind.
Please.
Keith Johnson, though, in the small blind with pocket jacks.
33-year-old English pro with a master's degree from the University of Sheffield.
A raise to 20,000. Henry in the big blind. Shows both cards very promptly. Another weak ace.
Looks like Henry doesn't want another penalty.
Tran with a re-raise to 48,000.
Well, during his one-round penalty, Tran did not forget how to 3-bet with an inferior hand.
So back to Johnson with another inferior hand, pocket jacks.
All in.
Ooh, a re-raise all in.
Bring in 48 to see how much.
Tran just with a weak ace, and this is for a decent chunk of his big stack, about 20%.
A shove for 327,000 from Johnson.
See, TV, you see it, and how tired I am.
Henry's a little giddy.
See who folded?
And he folds and shows his ace.
He doesn't like folding an ace. Heck, Henry doesn't like folding deuce tray.
Johnson will take the pot.
Nice answer.
Thank you.
You boys, you got a bear or better picker?
I don't know. What was your hand?
10.
Ace 10. You'll be
a miracle on miracles.
Keith Johnson wins with pocket jacks, which, as you know, is a very rare occurrence. In fact, Lana, I believe you have a special place in your heart for pocket jacks.
The Lon McCarran Memorial Hand.
Lon McCarran Memorial Hand? What? No.
Over to Brian Dennis with pocket jacks.
The Lon McCarran Memorial Hand.
Oh, indeed.
Pocket jacks? Don't know.
Action on Christy Gazes has pocket jacks.
Christy holding the Lon McCarran Memorial Hand. She seems to sense imminent danger.
I have not heard that phrase, that pocket jacks are the Lon McCarran Memorial Hand. No, I have not. Lon McCarran.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anaya wakes up with kings.
Uh-oh. Pocket jacks. The Lon McCarran Memorial Hand is about to get buried.
Maybe I have heard of it.
Claudia, the only smart one in the bunch, and I'm sure Liv Barry has no idea who I am.
Not all the time, but we're pretty friendly.
Claudia hanging in there with 411,000. Let's check in with 2010 November Niner Joe Chung trying to knock off online phenom Mike McDonald. Chung flopped trip deuces. McDonald has 2 pair. Queen of spades on the turn. McDonald now looking for a 10 to stay alive. The river card's a 9, and Joe Chung knocks off a very powerful player in McDonald.
The clock has run out on Timex, and don't look now, but here comes Joe Chung again with his 3rd straight deep run at the main event.
5 cashes in this 2012 World Series for McDonald. Joseph Chung just 1 yellow chip shy of $1 million. We're all good at something. It seems that Joe is good at running deep in the main event. One of the busiest airports in the country here in Las Vegas. Got a great name, too. Let's go to Kara Scott.
Apparently, the thrill of playing for over $8 million isn't enough stimulation for some players. There are strict rules regarding the use of telephones at the tables, but tablets and MP3 players, they are fair game. I walked by one table earlier where 5 out of the 8 players were all on their tablets, doing everything from looking at their email to checking Twitter to checking on the progress of other players in the tournament. Now, of course, all of this technology can be distracting, but for some people, it's really important to help them stay in contact and alert through the rest of the tournament. We even caught up with Vanessa Selbst as she was bagging up her chips at the end of day 3 and using Twitter to organize her ride home.
It's the younger generation, iPhones, iPods, iPads. This is the World Championship. You don't see Phil Mickelson checking his Twitter during the Masters? Jeez.
Folded to Mark Karam on the button with 4 deuce offsuit. Canadian poker pro reaching for chips, a raise to 18,000.
Who needs iTunes at the main event? Was Bobby Fischer wearing headphones when he faced Boris Spassky?
On the Jack Link's beef jerky hole cam, Brian Paris in the big blind with queen 10 off. 27-year-old. Looks like he wants to dance with Karam. He calls for 10,000 more.
Paris will defend his big blind. At least these 2 players are concentrating on the hand.
All right, the flop heads up, Karam and Paris. 6 jack ace, a Broadway draw for Paris. He checks, no help to Karam.
See, Lon, imagine the flop if it was just the 6 and the jack. It changes everything.
He got no help, but I don't think he's concerned with what his cards are. 20,000 is the bet.
Yeah, Cam raised on the button with rags, and now he'll continuation bet with raggier rags.
Paris with 2 World Poker Tour final tables on his resume. He makes the call.
He's looking suspiciously at Mark Karam, and he looks suspicious.
Yeah, he should look suspiciously at him. Turn card, tray of spades, both with flush draws. Paris with the better, holding the queen of spades.
Yeah, that would be the peekaboo card in my new poker world, and it's an action card here.
Paris checks again. Karam with a gut shot of his own now, bets 40,000.
Karam firing again, looking to shed Paris.
Ooh, look at that look. Paris makes the call.
That's the 3rd opportunity I believe Paris has had to raise and take it from Karam.
All right, the river card, 7 of diamonds. Paris has the best hand, and he checks again.
Well, when you've come this far across the desert carrying squadouche, I think you have to go even farther with that same 4-high squadouche.
The only way he's going to win it, Norman, is by betting it.
See if he waves the white flag finally.
Karam gives up.
Queen high.
And that wins it.
Karam kicking himself. I've got to believe one more bet might have done it.
I suck. I'm such a wuss.
I was shoving if you bet.
Sorry?
I was shoving if you bet.
He was going to shove if you bet.
Karam's main event takes an ugly turn.
I'm such a wuss.
If you shove, I have to fold.
So Paris now up to 941,000.
I thought you might hero call me with a jack or something.
A painful hit to the stack of Mark Karam. With the end of day 4 near, these players have already put in nearly 40 hours of play to reach this point. There's still a lot of poker left. 378 players remain, any 9 of whom could be playing at the final table in late October.
It's the November 9 October edition this year, so we don't conflict with that slightly more important November contest, the presidential election.
All right, we'll keep it here at the secondary feature table. Pocket queens for Dan DeZenzo, 25-year-old, born in New Jersey, lives here in Las Vegas.
Striped shirt and a backward baseball cap. Can't believe he's made it this far.
From the button, a raise to 16,000. Small blind, Paul Seam with 6 deuce. He lays it down in the big blind, Karam with king 5 of clubs.
All in.
And he's going to shove it all in, 169,000. DeZinzo with a quick call with his queens, and that puts Karam on the chopping block.
I'm not sure about that shove from Karam. King 5, 20 big blinds left, but he got unlucky. The button had a hand.
I like your hand. I'm feeling like I got sucked out on here.
I've been running good lately, so.
I folded 2 kings.
My first time all in this tournament.
Who folded what? I don't care.
Well, he picked a bad time, and DeZinzo flops a set.
Boy, brutal flop for Karam. Now he's going to need a running jack and 10 to stick around.
Hope I do.
Just put another queen.
He's got 8 outs
We
to a
haven't really
sweat.
had sweats on this table.
Turn card is a king. That's not going to be enough. DeZinzo wins the pot, eliminating Mark Karam.
Nice playing with you guys.
Bang, bang, out the door.
Karam, a tough player, says his goodbyes.
He wins almost $33,000 here. So the dangerous Mark Karam hits the rail, leaving Dan DeZinzo and 376 others that much closer to the final table. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Financial analyst Benjamin Scholl was the last man standing in the 5K Limit Hold'em event, adding over $200,000 to his personal bank account.
I'm honored to join the other great poker players who have won bracelets before me.
And in the $2,500 triple draw lowball event, Las Vegas pro Randy OL mounted a huge comeback heads up to capture the bracelet.
Really surreal, incredible. I'm just exhausted and excited, and I've never felt quite like this. Best day of my life.
Of the 61 bracelets awarded so far this year, 12 countries are represented. The U.S. has the overwhelming majority with 47. Only Canada and Germany also were multiple bracelet winners.
And for England, the Summer Olympics host an off year here. Only 1 bracelet at this World Series.
And you see last year's November 9er Phil Collins has been knocked out along with Vivek Rajkumar. To an outer table on the left, Kerry Dukes all in with ace-5, hoping to double through Wilfried Harig in the red shirt with pocket eights.
Amateur versus pro.
The flop. And Dukes hits his high card, now with aces up, a big favorite to score the double up.
Dukes works in the trucking industry, and he's in the fast lane with that flop.
Turn card is a club, Harig with a club flush draw.
Dukes has to dodge an 8 or a club.
The river card.
No club. Jack, if you feel a club off, I'm going to be very disillusioned. Just saying.
No club, but an 8!
You sucked that on me, man.
Kerry Dukes goes down swinging.
Good job.
Good play with you, man.
Enjoyed it, guys. I'll take it easy.
Good game, man. Nice hand.
Dukes wins almost $33,000.
Well, this is why we love the main event, Lon. An amateur like Dukes, great attitude, great spirit, great run.
Harig sits with almost 1.3 million chips right now. At an outer table, not good news for Chris Moorman fans. The Brits all in thinking, God save the queen for me on the turn of river. He trails the aces of Patrick Halter. The turn card now. No help to Moorman. And the river ends his 2012 main event.
Chris Moorman still on that list of best players without a bracelet. 16 World Series cashes, 3 final tables, but no jewelry.
His takeaway from this entire World Series, about $42,000, a far cry from the $1 million he won last year.
Halter, a 22-year-old Pennsylvania pro, building a stack.
He stacks the last $500,000 that formerly belonged to Chris Moorman. Chris Moorman has the World Series of Poker Europe to look forward to now.
The best poker content on the internet.
Your super high roller bowl 7 champion.
Oh, yeah.
Wheels are coming off. That's the craziest hand I've ever seen. What was that fight?
Go to get.pokergo.com/YT24 for $20 off a new annual subscription.
The main event numbers are dwindling. 356 players left. An average stack right now is over $500,000. Just 40 tables in play. The only 2011 November 9er left is Sam Holden.
The 23-year-old has played 2 main events and made 2 deep runs. It's all downhill from here, kid.
And we check in again with Ben Greenberg, the chip leader, checking in with his wife for some late day 4 advice.
He's also checking in there with his buddy Chris Viox, who knocked me out in 12th place en route to a stud 8 bracelet in 2011. And oh, that was nice to see. They've been married less than 3 years, so, you know, they're still a happy couple.
All right, let's catch up with Johnny Chan on the outer tables. The 2-time world champ all in with pocket 7s for over $500,000 against the pocket kings of Isaac Barron.
What a big pot. Chan Chan had 65 big blinds left.
A king in the window and a set for Barron. Bad news for Chan. Turn is a 9, a ray of hope. Johnny looking for a chop pot. A 6 on the river ends it, though, completing Johnny Chan's 2012 main event.
Chan out in a heartbeat. You may remember it was Barron who took a big chunk of Johnny's chips with his 10-8 suited versus a flop set of 9s.
So Johnny Chan's gamble pays off only for Isaac Barron, who was the benefactor of that big pot. He's now up to 1.1 million. Chan out in 353rd.
My goodness, that's got to be the biggest bag ever carried away from a poker table.
The main event just got a little safer. Back to the feature table, and we welcome Tim O'Dell from Orlando, Florida. He's been playing poker seriously for about 10 years.
Chen, he looks like Norman Chad. That's a better ringer than his Toby Maguire.
That
Right?
Norman, don't mess around, buddy. Ask them.
I have a funny story about Norman Chad. I'll tell you in a sec.
Someone confused me for him.
I've had aces 14 times. They just fold every time because I only play aces. Ask them, right?
He only plays aces. Occasionally kings in the right position.
Like 1.2 million?
O'Dell began this day 4 with 552,000. He's nearly doubled that so far. He owns a precious metals refinery in Orlando. He's married with 1 child here in his very first World Series of Poker.
Okay, his glasses are similar to mine, but I've got much bigger ears, and I would shave the 3-day growth. However, we both do like to fish, so we have that in common.
There you go. All right. Folded to Jordan Batt on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Hole Cam. Pocket Queens for the amateur from Illinois.
He owns a company that sells vehicle warranty contracts.
A raise to 18,000. Henry Tran quickly folds a weak ace. Over to O'Dell. 5-4 of diamonds. He doesn't usually work with diamonds, only gold, silver, and platinum at his refinery.
Well, how are they comparing O'Dell to me? I would have turbo-mucked that hand.
He calls for 18,000. The button and the blinds fold. Heads up.
Doesn't Jordan Batt look a little like me?
Oh, no. More like a stunt double for Patrick Antonius. All right, here's the flop. 7-4-10. Pocket Queens like that flop.
My mother used to tell me, you hold your mouth open that long, you're going to catch flies.
Batt with the best hand, bets 22,000. O'Dell picked up bottom pair, but that's no good.
Well, how's this guy my doppelganger? I would have folded pre-flop and I would fold here.
He could really use one of your sports coats to spruce that look up a bit. He does make the call. Turn card down. The deuce of spades.
A worthless card, and that makes it a really dry board. Pocket Queens feeling pretty good.
Yep, Batt and those queens not threatened, and now he bets 44,000.
Okay, Norman Jr., fold the turn, make me proud.
O'Dell would need help on the river if he sticks around, and he's going to try to get that help. All right, 189,000 in the middle. The river card is an 8. O'Dell comes up empty.
That's a great looking board for Pocket Queens. Batt will be in line at the Value Bet Refinery.
Certainly has to feel comfortable with those queens.
60.
He announces 60,000. O'Dell with the quick call.
I would have folded the river, Norman Jr.
Pair of 4s aren't going to cut it here.
Tim O'Dell came to this table with 1 million chips. He's now headed towards 0 chips.
Batt over 500,000 now, takes some of the new guys' chips. O'Dell down to 935,000. Jordan getting the maximum on that hand, but former FBI agent Joe Navarro saw something that should have put O'Dell on high alert.
When we look at poker tells, sometimes the evidence is contradictory. And in this case, as we look at Jordan, notice how he's pursing his lips, he's compressing his lips. There's a hard swallow. His jaw drops. The jaw is shifting sometimes side to side. And usually we associate that with weakness. However, in one tell, he really demonstrated what he was really thinking. And here we see the mouth wide open and his tongue is pressing up against the roof of his mouth. Now, it's hard to see, but this is a gravity-defying behavior which says, I really feel strong about my hand.
So if I'm ever heads up and I bring a periodontal probe, I've got a decided advantage on my opponent. Okay.
All right, we'll keep it here at the feature table. Batt under the gun, queen deuce offsuit into the muck, folded over to Henry Tran. Tran with 2 kings.
Boy, Tran now a whole card cam Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is minding his P's and Q's lately. Sits with almost 1.6 million and a raise to 18,000.
Wow, and he's acting quickly too.
Now Adele with Queen 10 of clubs.
Another hand I don't mess around with.
But he seems to want to splash around with that hand. He makes the call. Robert Kalaporis with 7-5 gives it up to Jay Pak on the button. He lays down. Chandrashi Kuhn with ace, jack, offsuit from the small blind.
He knows Tran could open with anything, so he might be thinking 3-bet here.
And that would be fine with Henry Tran and his kings. And yes, indeed, Kuhn reopens the action, re-raising to 60,000. Marifiotti in the big blind with ace-queen.
That's a really big hand, but Marifioti's only got 12 big blinds left, and that's a lot of action in front of him.
Buddy, you're killing me. You're absolutely killing me today, buddy.
Marifiotti has the biggest pocket I've ever seen on a shirt.
As you mentioned, a lot of action getting to him. And what's that, a fake shove?
I don't like that.
No.
That's Bush League.
Marifiotti tortured with his ace-queen. And finally gives it up.
Well, he makes the correct fold, and Henry Tran now sitting in the catbird seat.
How much is stock behind?
375 behind. 375 behind.
Tran loves asking
Yeah,
Kuhn
it's
how many
close.
chips he has.
Yeah, that's good enough. Thanks.
Henry Tran re-raises to 160,000. Back to Odell now.
That's an easy fold for Odell.
Yep. Now Kuhn with ace-jack.
Lucky son of the gun.
I have no idea what he's doing with that poor apple.
And Kuhn gives it up.
Lucky son of the gun, man. Matt, you're lucky.
Yeah, why? I had ace-queen of spades.
The one over.
And Henry shows the kings. Good fold.
Whew. It's hard to fold ace-queen of spades with my stack. Nice hand, Henry.
Henry with almost 1.7 million now. The World Series of Poker Main Event is about choices. What to wear.
I just wanted to look like a cat.
What to say.
So you're the greatest player in the world, and you have to figure what I have. Good read.
You're my new favorite.
I am gonna let you have it this time.
You want to do that?
Yes, I can breathe a bit.
And how to approach the end of a day.
It gets definitely harder every day. The weaker players are getting eliminated and the stronger remains.
Some players might sit back and wait while others will push every edge.
Now that I have a big stack, I'm just really opening things up and putting it out on the open road.
It's a risk reward that everyone must consider as the end of day 4 nears. Welcome to the Rio and the 2012 World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Tonight we close the book on day 4. For some, the last level will be a time to cruise. For others, a chance to chip up. Pro Matt Marifiotti is looking to chip up.
Matt's one of the most polarizing figures in poker, and when he's got something to say, he says it.
Henry Tran is on the leaderboard for chips and one-round penalties.
He is day 4's bad boy, just a little ornery with everybody.
Norwegian waitress Elizabeth Hill is one of many women keeping the room buzzing.
Indeed, she's used to waiting on other people, but when you've got a million chips, they will wait on you.
Young pro Paul Volpe is surging.
The aggressive 30-year-old from Westchester, PA is over the 2 million chip mark.
And actor Kevin Pollak is enjoying every moment of his first World Series cash.
Who knew that his best impersonation would be that of a poker pro?
Pollak is nowhere near the top 10, a top 10 that has been infiltrated by the likes of Vanessa Selbst and former November Niner Eric Buckman. For most of day 4, though, it's been Ben Greenberg on top.
And Greenberg with a couple of talented poker friends on his rail, 2006 main event runner-up Paul Wasika and bracelet winner Chris Viox.
Vanessa Selbst headlines the secondary feature table. Her ability to read her opponents and her well-timed aggression routinely put her in contention.
You know, I think it's important to always switch gears. Like, obviously when there are people that seem like they don't want to fold, I'm not going to bluff them as often. I mean, it really just depends on the table, and I think my table right now is letting me get away with a little bit.
Selbst has the most chips at her table. There is not much of a threat anywhere. She's also the only player at the table with a bracelet.
Few players as creative as Vanessa. She seems to find ways to win hands no one else dreams of winning.
Daniel Silva is an amateur player who has dared to tangle with Vanessa on a couple of occasions.
And understandably, he seems as if he doesn't want to tangle with her. I'm with him on that.
There you see the payouts for those who run out of chips, nearly $33,000 currently. Action on Vanessa Selbst. She looks down at 2 red 9s. Reaching for chips as usual, a raise to $22,000.
Vanessa Russo shared her home here this summer with Vanessa Selbst, Maria Ho, and Liv Boeri. All 3 of them have cashed this main event, so Ms. Russo's a pretty good host.
Folded to the 25-year-old born in New Jersey, living here in Vegas. Dan DeZenzo with 9-7 of clubs. He makes the call.
Okay, Selbst raises from early position. You come in with 9-7. All I'm saying is you've got to have a self-destructive streak.
DeZenzo has more than doubled his stack today. He's up to 600,000 chips plus. Folded to the big blind, Brian Paris, ace-7 of spades.
27-year-old Southern California pro, showing off the best hair at the feature table.
He loves to travel in and play poker in Europe. And he calls for 12,000 more. So no one re-raises Vanessa's early raise. 3 players will see this flop. 6-7 jack, pair of 7s with top kicker for Brian Paris. He checks. Pocket 9 still ahead for Vanessa.
4 poker-playing women under one roof. Sounds like a reality show.
It might be one. They had cameras there. Selbst bets 26,000. DeZenzo with 7s and a bad kicker.
Well, he caught just enough of that flop to get into further trouble.
And he makes the call. Paris, one more check of his cards, and he checks out.
Now, he knew to throw away his pair of 7s. Why didn't he kick DeZenzo under the table?
Good point. So heads up, Selbst and DeZenzo. The turn card. The 8 of clubs gives both players the same 2-way straight draw. Vanessa checks.
For me.
If you are going to stick around in position against Vanessa, show some muscle.
A check.
Jeez!
River card, ace misses both. The pocket 9s of Selbst are best. And she checks again.
Check, check.
It goes check, check. And the 9s will be good. And DeZenzo becomes the latest victim of Vanessa Selbst. Vanessa's girlfriend, Miranda Forster, standing by, lending her support.
From watching Vanessa, you just get the feeling she is thinking about things that other players don't even know they're supposed to think about.
With the end of day 4 just a level away in the 2012 main event, making the top 100 and then the final table of 9 is a very real proposition for our remaining 342 players. As the pressure ramps up, it will be important to see who cracks and who thrives. The main event is 7 days long this year, meaning that this is the unofficial Thursday night of the tournament, and we know that on Thursdays, everyone starts gearing up for the weekend.
Well, being the party animal I'm not, I don't know much about weekends, but I do know that Ladies' Night is still a big draw. And this year, it's Ladies' Night just about every night at the main event. In a game forever dominated by men, Vanessa Selbst, Gail Bowman, and Elizabeth Hill are finally showing that gender is no barrier at the World Series of Poker. Boy, these women can play. And I get a feeling you'll see them playing well into the weekend of the main event.
The average stack right now approaching 600,000. At one of the outer tables, Elizabeth Hill just flopped bottom set on an all-spade board against the top pair of Frank Morrow. Hill bet 50,000, Morrow raised to 100.
Morrow, a 51-year-old commercial real estate investor from Atlanta. Hill, a 26-year-old waitress from Norway. I doubt they've ever crossed paths.
All in.
All in.
Hill raises Morrow all in, and a call from Frank Morrow to put himself at risk.
I don't know how you call off all your chips in that spot. Morrow had nearly 50 big blinds left.
And with just top pair, Morrow will have to get very lucky very quickly against Hill's set. The king on the turn ends it. Hill wins the hand, Morrow drawing dead.
Morrow gift wraps 500,000 chips to Elizabeth Hill.
And like his shirt says, Morrow will tap out. Elizabeth Hill becoming a much bigger force here in the main event. Morrow's next stop will be the payout window to collect nearly $33,000, his first World Series cash.
And he won't want to see that final hand again. And look at Greg Merson there. He was texting earlier in the hand. Now he's chatting up Elizabeth because she has a lot of chips. Guys are so transparent.
From one woman running hot on the outer tables to another dominating the play at our secondary feature table, Vanessa Selbst with ace-jack and a re-raise. The action is on Scott Anderson and his 9-6 of clubs.
Anderson, a 39-year-old semi-pro who works as an advertising consultant in North Carolina.
And for $39,000, he makes the call.
Another guy with a self-destructive streak, and he's out of position against Selbst.
All right, here's the flop. Deuce 8-7. Anderson with an open-ended straight draw. He checks. Vanessa Selbst missed the flop. She does have 2 overcards to the board. And bets $53,000.
And again, if you want to tangle with Vanessa, this is the type of flop where you want to muscle up and seize control. Check raiser, sir.
140.
And he does just that, Norman. A check raise to 140.
I am proud to be a man again, Lon.
All right, back to Vanessa Selbst now.
And Anderson trying to use Vanessa's aggression against her.
Well, Vanessa rarely runs out of aggression.
I'm all in.
And re-raises Anderson all in. Back at you.
This is sickening. Men have controlled the world for a long time, and now this stuff is happening. Boy, self-sensing Anderson isn't that strong, and she puts him to the test for his entire stack. Most players like me just fold to that check raise, not Vanessa.
Boy, how can Anderson continue? And he does not. He lays down, and that's one way to build a big chip stack at the main event.
Anderson decides he doesn't want to gamble on a draw. He'll hold on to his 42 big blinds.
And Vanessa sending a message. You better be prepared to make the maximum commitment to beat me. The 2012 main event began with 6,598 players. Right now, 327 are left. 8.5 million reasons to make that final table in October. The top 7 finishers will make at least $1 million.
And still alive in this field, 76-year-old Perry Green, 3-time bracelet winner and 1981 main event runner-up to Stu Unger.
Second in chips right now, that man, Paul Volpe. 8-flop middle pair and a flush draw against Sean Rice, who has top pair, top kicker.
You may recall Rice from knocking out Eugene Katchloff on day 3.
A check from Volpe. 254,000 chips in the middle, and Rice checks back. Turn card, the 10 of clubs, and Volpe turns the club flush.
Boy, 9-4 was ugly when this hand started. It doesn't look that ugly anymore.
Volpe reaching for some of his 2.4 million chips and puts out 150,000 of them.
Now, when you check top pair on the flop, sometimes you're hoping your opponent tries to bluff on the turn. If I'm Rice, I'm thinking Volpe is betting on the draw here, so I'm going to call here with top pair.
But you look at Rice's percentage, and you know he's in trouble. Drawing dead, he makes the call.
Yeah, Rice thinking like I am here, and of course that's never a good sign.
The river card is a king, giving Rice useless trips.
Yikes.
Wow, that's scary. And Volpe bets enough to put Rice all in.
Now, I wouldn't think that Volpe's bluff shoving, but Rice has trip kings with an ace kicker. Tough to call off all his chips here. Tough to fold.
Rice makes the call, and his second best trip kings will cost him the pot and his 2012 main event.
Well, we have a new chip leader, and Sean Rice is swept out of here. Rice started that hand with 75 big blinds. That hurts.
You see the vacant look in his eyes, Norman? That's a classic main event knockout look. Volpe over 3.1 million chips. The Philadelphia-born Volpe is no stranger to World Series of Poker main event success. Last year he finished 192nd. He started this day for 10th in chips and now sits in first.
He's more of an online guy, but Volpe has 5 top 50 finishes in World Series events. And when you've got to stand up to stack your chips, that's a lot of chips.
Volpe has been crushing it out there, just as Vanessa Selbst has been under the bright lights of the secondary feature table. After the turn, Vanessa's ace-4 trails the ace-jack of Daniel Sova. Sova has flush and straight draws.
Sometimes it's a question as to who has more will.
Selbst checks. Sova, who seems to enjoy getting into hands with Vanessa, bets 26,000.
You've got to take a stand against her.
That's your chips.
Though often it turns out you're standing in quicksand, but sometimes you just got to be a man.
Vanessa Selbst not going anywhere.
Jeez. I apologize to Danny Sova in advance for what's about to happen.
Well, that's more than 26,000. That's a raise to 88,000 from Selbst.
Yeah, this is Vanessa again assessing the strength of her opponent's hand, and indeed it's not strong, and her opponent's willingness to risk most of his chips. It's just another brilliant play.
But Sova not going anywhere. There's a re-raise.
You probably just have ace of spades to check, but nice one.
Well, Daniel Sova restores my faith in manhood.
I don't have anything, actually.
Though I'm a bit concerned that Vanessa called his hand exactly as she folded.
Nice hand.
Well, what chance do we have?
Sova's day gets a little better as he nears 600,000 chips.
Sigh. Haven't gotten out of line at all today, and I just choose the worst spot possible.
Vanessa still left with just under 1.7 million. As we head over to the outer tables, we learn that one of Vanessa's summer roommates, Maria Ho, has just been eliminated from the main event in 322nd place.
Sometimes Maria seems like a part-time poker player. She has so many other interests, but boy does she play well. Her second main event cash.
Over to Gail Bowman. Her pocket jacks held up after a flop of all tiny cards against the pocket nines of Ryan Poshedley, who bet 140,000 after Bowman checked.
It's a world gone mad, Lon. Every time we look up, a woman is running over a man.
Welcome to the 2012 main event. And an all-in, that would put Poshedley at risk if he calls.
Poshedley, a 26-year-old Ohio pro. He'd have 36 big blinds left here if he folds.
He has an overpair to the board, but decides to fold the nines. Well done, Ryan.
A good fold by Poshedley. He didn't go bust with the overpair. And Gail Bowman is back on the uptick.
Poshedley left with 366,000. Gail Bowman didn't move much on day three, but she's certainly moving now, up to 1.3 million. To get that bracelet, you need to collect all the chips, almost 200 million of them. Right now, 30-year-old Paul Volpe is leading with just over 3 million. The average stack nearly 613,000. At the feature table sits Matt Marifiotti, a controversial figure in the poker community. He's got money and he likes to flaunt it.
Would I consider myself a baller? Well, on some scale. Obviously, there are guys that walk around with $500,000 in their pocket in chips like it's chiclets. No, I mean, I'm not a baller on that scale. You know, when I was 21, I bought a house for $2 million. When I was 19, I bought an Aston Martin. There's a $30,000 Audemars. I have a collection of them. There's a $10,000 bracelet, a $5,000 necklace, $1,000 jeans, $2,300 ostrich shoes. When I walk into certain stores in the mall that are very high-end stores, I'm treated with a certain level of courtesy, and I have very big tabs at all of them. You know, last Father's Day, I got my dad a $9,000 pen because he likes pens, so I'll let you decide if I'm a baller or not.
By the way, for the uninitiated, a baller is someone who is flashy with their money or buys extravagant and expensive things. I think Matt Marifiotti qualifies.
Indeed. Folded to Chandrashi Kuhn. King, Queen offsuit on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam.
Incidentally, Marifiotti's jeans exceeded Kuhn's entire clothing budget last year.
Kuhn raised to 20,000. Marifiotti with pocket jacks raises all in to 103,000.
You can fold, you know, sure.
Marifiotti is a self-described nit, so pocket jack's probably the bottom of his range here.
Hopefully I flip.
And there's a call. Kuhn has two overcards to the jacks of Marifiotti, putting Matt at risk.
Kuhn trying to bust Matt Marifiotti.
A worried look on Matt's face. Here's the flop. Deuce ace 10, Broadway draw for Kuhn. Marifiotti is still good.
Kuhn now looking for paint. Marifiotti channeling his spidey senses.
The turn card. Don't wake him up. Is a 6. Marifiotti's still good.
Not sure if Matt doesn't want to see the board or if he's envisioning his next $9,000 pen purchase.
Double up.
Fellow Canadian rooting for Matt.
Marifiotti's got to dodge a king, queen, or jack.
The river card, the 4 of hearts. Kuhn fails to score the knockout. Marifiotti doubles.
I'll say this. Matt doesn't blow his budget on shirts, just pockets.
Matt doubles up to 230,000.
Okay, pressure's off. King, queen. I had jacks. You know how I play. We talk. Oh, yes, I can breathe a bit. Oh, time to play. Give me some queens now.
So you need queen now, eh?
So I can fold them to Henry.
So Matt Marifiotti stays in the game with that double up. On day 3, we mic'd him up at the end of the night.
What do you got, buddy? Did you really try to bluff me twice? If I call, they're probably all going in on the flop. Come on, hit me off a little. I'm not letting you flat me in position either. Didn't you know? This isn't gambling. Since you're not paying attention, I'm gonna make it 7,900 since you're not paying attention. Just fold. Not folded. You can't fold? Wow. I actually can't fold either. Nice hand. You can't fold, I can't fold, see? Should have bet the river, though.
He talks the talk and walks the walk in $2,300 ostrich shoes.
We'll keep it here at the featured table. All the players here enjoying the Norman Chad look-alike. Tim O'Dell.
Norman.
What's that?
Norman. I don't know. Who's Norman Chad?
Oh, really?
The poker announcer?
Yeah, but I love that you're just calling him that anyway.
He
doesn't look like him? No. Tell me, you had a story about that, no?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was playing a tournament in Daytona, and he was there hosting, and he was talking about the dangers of playing ace-queen and how it's knocked him out of every tournament that he's ever played in, or something.
Get Norm over here. Get him next to each other. You'll see. Is he still in the house?
Well, anyways, later in the tournament,
Yeah.
when he's making his rounds, I get ace-queen under the gun. Get 2 calls.
Yeah.
Flop comes ace-ace-queen. I bet. I get raised. I get re-raised all in. So I flop over my ace-queen. And he's like, "You, sir, have impressed me." And he took a dollar bill out of his pocket and signed it Norman Chad, ace-queen, and gave it to me.
Really? It's a little presumptuous.
Corny, but, you know.
I want the dollar bill back.
Oh, well, I do see the resemblance. O'Dell looks more like a Norman Chad on the lamb, though, kind of on the post office wall.
Good for you. I don't see it. Well, I don't remember meeting him, but I guess I should since we're twins.
All right, action on Jordan Batt. He folds to Keith Johnson. Johnson lives in Nottingham, Great Britain, hoping to take from the rich and keep Queen Jack. And with Queen Jack, he's going to raise it up to 20,000.
By the way, I learned to stay away from ace-queen from Doyle Brunson. He's the one who bemoans its fate.
And Tim O'Dell / Norman Chad has the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card.
Oh, this should be easy. He's my doppelganger.
There's a call for 20,000.
Why do they put ace-queen up there? They're just messing with me. I'm not falling for it, Lon. Ace-deuce suited.
All right, ace-deuce suited. B, says Norman Chad. All right, the button and the blinds fold, so it'll be O'Dell with a wild card hand and Keith Johnson. Here's the flop. 10-6 queen. Johnson catches top pair. Ace-queen would be leading. And he checks.
That's a pretty good flop to check. O'Dell, 33 from Orlando, Florida, owns a precious metals refinery. If this were the Jack Links Wild Professions hand, I never would have guessed that.
No kidding. Well, after the check from Johnson, O'Dell bets 27,000.
He's just stealing. Johnson should knock him out of this hand and go buy him a razor.
Nope, just a call. Turn card now. 9 of hearts.
Another good card for the Brit, who appears to be waiting for his car's smog check to be completed. I would definitely bet here. Top pair, up and down straight draw.
You're right. He certainly doesn't act like he has top pair. He checks again.
Well, now I believe O'Dell would bet anything he's got because he senses weakness, but I still have O'Dell on ace-deuce suited if he does take a stab here.
42,000 is the bet from O'Dell this time.
Johnson trained as an accountant. I'm trying to train him as a bluff catcher. And even if he's behind at the moment, he's got a lot of outs.
That's not a happy Englishman. I think O'Dell might have hypnotized Johnson into believing he has ace-queen with that corny story. Johnson folds. O'Dell did have ace-deuce suited to win the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Odell's trying to give away his chips, and I still want my dollar bill back.
Man.
Odell working his way back to a million chips. A well-played wild card hand for both Norman Chads. Let's catch up with Sean Deeb. Deeb right now short stacked and all in with ace-5 against the king-jack of diamonds of past November niner Eric Buckman, who has over 2 million chips.
I always root for both these guys.
Here's the flop. 5, 7, 8. Deeb pairs his 5. He's a 3-1 favorite now. That missed Buckman, turn card. 10 of hearts, Buckman picks up 4 more outs.
And now a king, jack, or 9 would knock out Deeb.
The river card is a king, and Sean Deeb knocked out after Buckman spikes a winning pair of kings. So Deeb gone, Buckman trying to become the first repeat November niner, now with almost 2.2 million chips.
And Deeb is busted by a brutal river again. Max Heinzelman last year did it at the main event.
So Deeb with another abbreviated stay at the main event. He expected so much more of himself. This year, he's knocked out by a king on the river from a dealer named King. It's the longest grind in poker. The main event, 7 days plus a 2-day final table. Tonight marks the end of day 4 as we move through the Amazon room. Another look at Elizabeth Hill. A remarkable story so far. Just $213,000 to start the day, now with over $1.6 million.
She's getting paid off when she gets good cards. Everything working for her.
Her boyfriend Harold Olson won over $20,000 in an earlier World Series event. Split the winnings with Elizabeth, and that gave her her main event buy-in. The 26-year-old Hill playing in her second main event. She's definitely an amateur, but not playing like one. This is her first ever cash at the World Series. She's doing it with style.
She says she loves being a waitress. Hey, I used to work as a waiter. That job is as tough and thankless as being a poker dealer. If you make one mistake, like spilling the entree on a customer's lap, they go ballistic.
Hill tangling with Greg Merson to her right. Merson's set of aces coming up short to Elizabeth's turned flush.
Merson, 24-year-old pro who won his first bracelet just before the main event.
Merson bets $87,000.
Boy, he flops those set of aces, and he's probably not going to get those 87,000 chips back. Hill with the third nut flush.
Merson has bounced back a little bit. He was knocked down to $112,000 after losing a hand to Hill earlier. Elizabeth raises Merson all in.
I think Greg Merson's body just went limp.
Oh, my. 3 aces into the muck. Good fold, though, Greg. And Elizabeth Hill gets stronger.
She shows her flush, and give Merson credit. He bet it when he thought it was a winner. A set of aces looked darn good, and he folded it when he thought it was a loser and keeps his main event alive. We saw Sean Rice call off his last chips with 3 kings against Paul Volpe's flush.
So Elizabeth Hill's gravy train keeps chugging along with nearly 1.8 million chips, and that total is enough to place her among the top 10 chip stacks in the 2012 main event. It is amazing. Paul Volpe still the chip leader with nearly 3 million. Buckman in 4th. One-time chip leader Ben Greenberg in 5th.
And look at number 10, the only waitress, I believe, on that leaderboard.
All right, back to the feature table where Henry Tran leads with 1.6 million here.
Literally, I'm not playing a hand unless I can be the aggressor the full way. Literally, that's my motto right now. I think it's a great motto. Unless someone
Henry Tran with King Jack raises to 22,000.
Tran's not playing a hand unless he's on a 1-round penalty.
Pocket trays for Doug Klevitz. He calls. Tim O'Dell on the button with King 8 of clubs.
I don't think Tim O'Dell's long for these proceedings.
He calls. Folded around to the big blind. Chandrashi Kuhn. Kuhn looks down at King Queen off.
Hard to resist. 7.5 to 1 on your money on a pre-flop call.
Well, he couldn't knock out Matt Marifiotti with that hand. Looks like it's worth a look at the flop. He does call for 12,000 more.
Pocket threes look awfully good in this spot.
Boy, a lot of King X out there, aren't there? All right, here's the flop. And it is 3, deuce, 5, 2 clubs. Klevitz with a set of 3s. 2 of the King hands can only hope for a chop. Kuhn and Tran, they both check. Now to Klevitz with the set.
35-year-old pro, worked several years as a stockbroker.
And Hill invests 42,000. O'Dell now with a flush draw.
He's not going anywhere. A club draw and my dollar bill.
And he is putting some chips together, and that's a call. Kuhn folds his king-queen now to Henry Tran.
Well, of course, Tran is not folded yet. Only Henry Tran with those hole cards and that board could be considering a move right here.
He is the big stack at this table, and there's a bully move, a raise to 110,000.
Yeah, it's rare to be drawing dead on the flop. Tran is, and Tran has raised. I'd say it's a bad read.
Now to Doug Klevitz with the middle set.
Tran looking at Klevitz like he passed gas or something.
Come on.
Klevitz re-raises all in, 348,000.
Well, I was going to make it 350, so I guess I call.
Interesting logic.
Odell now officially puts Klevitz at risk. Back to Henry.
You calling that quick?
I was already going to re-raise to 350, so 348.
Okay, so somebody got a set.
Tran's right, Tran folds.
It's not bad good.
Klevitz way ahead. You see Odell's outs, the clubs remaining that could knock out Klevitz. All right, here we go to the turn card with Klevitz at risk, 7 of diamonds, misses Odell.
Odell looking for a club, but it can't be the 5 or the 7. That would give Klevitz a full house to knock him out.
Will Klevitz from Long Island stay or go? He will stay. Klevitz more than doubles up. Odell comes up short.
Klevitz gets very healthy in one hand.
And he's over to the rail to celebrate. It's better than average tip stack now. Klevitz with 907,000.
I can't really hold off that much. I was just saying.
So the set works for him. Odell knocked down to 520,000. The turn and river brick for Odell, but should he ever have even been in that position? Here are Phil Locke and Antonio Esfandiari with pro analysis.
Odell, brilliant. Okay, you've got the perfect flop, overcards, flush draw, everything's happening. Oh, wait, what's happening? No, people are putting huge amounts of money into the pot. Re-examine your hand. This is a chance to fold. This is an opportunity to fold.
Right, I mean, that's a dream flop. If you're gonna play the king-8 of clubs, that's exactly the kind of flop you want. But sometimes you gotta look at the bigger picture. There's too much action going on around, and it's very possible that you could be drawing dead. So personally, I would not put my chips in the pot.
Me either. This is a spot where the intermediate is gonna get whacked, and the pro is gonna taste that something's wrong and get away from the hand.
I'll just let my boys bury Tim Odell, and what the heck, he can keep the buck.
Fewer than 300 players now, some minds undoubtedly drifting to thoughts of how much could I make from here on out. There's Andres Koreknai, a 30-year-old pro from Hungary who just turned the nut flush. Neil Beckerman from Dallas, an amateur, just turned a lesser flush, bet 60,000, but he's drawing dead.
And a raise.
And there, Koreknai comes over the top of the re-raise to 150,000.
Cold deck for Beckerman, 56-year-old former CEO of Unilever Foods North America. This is a tough spot for an amateur in his first main event.
Beckerman putting big troops together. And he says, your bet is not enough. A re-raise to 400,000.
3 bets it. And Koreknai now must wonder if he can get all of Beckerman's chips.
With the lesser flush, Beckerman putting chips in the middle. Now, Koreknai. There's the re-raise to put Beckerman all in.
Well, this is what we just heard Phil Locke talking about. It's hard to realize it's time to fold.
But Beckerman calls with the lesser flush and sees the bad news. He has been eliminated from the main event.
And Beckerman's going to sit for the river. Figured he'd get the max value for his 10K buy-in, kind of like sitting at the movies for the credits.
A big shot in the arm for Koreknai's stack as he moves over 2.2 million.
Tonight was first time ever playing in a real tournament, believe it or not.
Really?
Hey, it was a bucket list type of thing. I was happy to be here. Played with a lot of great people. ESPN is #1.
Congratulations.
Enjoy.
It wasn't that long ago the main event was a permanent fixture in downtown Las Vegas, now held in the much more expansive Rio. At our secondary table, another look at Vanessa Selbst, who won her second bracelet this year, joining an exclusive list of women with multiple bracelets.
Barbara Enright, Starla Brody, Susie Isaacs, Nanny Dollison, and Jennifer Harmon also with multiple bracelets. Harmon and Selbst the only women with 2 open event bracelets.
King 10 of spades for Selbst to raise to 23,000.
Enright, the only woman to final table the main event, 5th in 1995. Barbara Samuelson, Susie Isaacs, and Annie Duke all have finished 10th here.
With pocket sixes, Paul Seam, an amateur living in Clearwater, Florida, made the call. Pulled it around to Weber Kang in the small blind.
I hear Weber Kang and think Clubber Lang.
He folds to Sova in the big blind. Ace-8 off.
Water's warm, get in here. I'll probably bluff off like another 100K to you.
And Sova makes the call. All right, the flop.
For sure gonna bluff off all of it.
King, king, queen. No bluffing there. Trip kings for Selbst. Sova checks.
Yeah, Vanessa will not be bluffing off a dime in this hand.
They all check. Turn card 7 of spades. Sova now drawing dead.
You know, a player like Vanessa, if we had the actual total chips she's bluffed off in her tournament career, that number might exceed the GNP of all of Western Europe.
All right, Selbst. Well, can she get any takers? 35,000. Seam folds.
Well, the problem is nobody's got a hand here, so Vanessa's not going to profit anymore.
So fakes a re-raise and folds. Wow. And Vanessa shows her king.
Wow. So tilting.
With me like that. I knew as soon as he started, it's just a classic pump fake situation. So tilting.
Another pot for Vanessa. As she continues to dominate that secondary featured table. We move back to the outer tables to check in on the biggest celebrity remaining in this main event field, Hollywood actor Kevin Pollak. He has made his first main event and first World Series cash, an eventful one.
You look very familiar. I want to say movies or something, right?
Let's go movies for 400. And the answer is?
You're Kevin Spacey.
Why you gotta do me like that? Big laydown. How bad was your kicker? Not only did I have one of those, but I had one of these.
I made the money. This is a great day.
Jason Alexander is a regular in Kevin's Hollywood home game, and it's going to kill him that Kevin's made this deep of a main event run.
Kevin in a poker movie moment holding pocket kings to the pocket queens of James Keys. Pollak just made it 60,000 to go.
Kevin has played tight as a Gene Krupa drum, so if I were Keys, even with pocket queens, I'd be wary.
Keys is not wary. He says let's play a little higher, a raise to 110,000.
Kevin's almost certainly going to push here, but he might be worried about pocket aces. That's the way we comedians think.
I'm all in.
He is all in for 309,000.
Best case scenario, if your Keys, is that you're flipping against ace-king. Pollak's not shoving with jacks or tens.
Keys has Pollak covered. And there's the call to put Kevin Pollak at risk. Kevin more than a 4-1 favorite to double up here.
Keys, maybe a little disgusted with himself.
And here's the flop, 10 deuce 4. So far, so good for Pollak. Turn card another 4. Keys gets no help.
Is Kevin still hopping over there?
He's one card from a double up.
He's impersonating Ali before Ali Frazier too. Yeah!
Another 10 on the river, and Pollak survives and has a little more wiggle room now.
Well, that's the most emotion we've seen from Kevin Pollak, so I'd say he's vested in this event.
Keys ships more than a third of his stack across the felt.
When you get a second, yourself. No, I won. That's what I say when I win.
I was going to apologize to you. That's what I do.
That's what I say when I win. Go yourself.
Keys accepts his poison. Kevin works the room.
He now sits with an average-sized chip stack.
You're my new favorite.
But a much better than average-sized win. Back with more in a moment. Tonight's bracelet moment is brought to you by PokerNews.com. Toronto filmmaker Simon Charette struck gold in the $3,000 six-handed no-limit hold'em event. Good for over $500,000, and it was one of 5 World Series cashes for Charette this summer.
This is the best moment of my life.
Word.
At a high-powered final table with Phil Ivey, Mike Matusow, and Scotty Wynn, it was young pro Joe Cassidy who came out on top.
It feels like such a relief to win my first bracelet. You know, I've wanted this for a long time, and I finally have it.
Cassidy is not the only big-name pro who can now breathe a sigh of relief. Andy Block led a group of players who won their first bracelet in 2012. One player who broke the seal more than 20 years ago is Phil Hellmuth. He won his 12th this year in the $2,500 Raz event.
For the poker brat, that's his first non-hold'em bracelet. The only reason Hellmuth won that Raz event is that I believe he thought he was playing stud.
Henry Tran still holding the big hammer at this featured table with nearly 1.5 million chips. Action on Tran with Queen Jack. A raise to 22,000.
By the way, both David Bakers won a bracelet this year. David ODB Baker and David Bakes Baker.
On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, Stefan Basson with pocket threes.
29-year-old Canadian pro. Another Rounders poker baby.
He makes the call for 22,000. Kuhn folds to Matt Marifiati with pocket queens in the small blind, and he shoves for 249,000.
The Nit found a hand with 25 big blinds left.
All right, Jordan Batt with pocket jacks. Come on, Jordan. You can fold it.
That's a big hand for Batt to pick up.
Jack's no good here.
Not against you.
Ah, yes.
Good decision from Batt.
All
Does
right.
Henry Tran have a good decision on him?
Queen Jack.
Now I wink at you, baby.
You want me to go on?
Oh, Henry. You know I like you, buddy.
Well, I'm asking you.
Henry, I'll show you.
This is a pretty easy fold for Tran, I think.
Boy, once he put chips in the middle, he's a bulldog.
Just trying to make me sweat a little. I'm not that nervous, to be honest. Pretty happy.
I guess that's a believable speech. Tran folds.
Oh my God, look at this guy. This guy scares me though. Holy.
Basson with his trays.
Stefan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, you?
Good. I'm a nit, by the way.
Basson folds. And the queens are face up now.
You were ahead.
Of course I was ahead. I'm a nit. I'm always ahead. It's just a matter of how many chips I have when I'm ahead.
We're kissing cousins. I'm always behind. It's just a matter of how many chips I have when I'm behind.
And see, Jordan, don't you feel cleansed folding the jacks?
Lay down jacks.
There you go, Henry.
Fiati over 300,000
You
now.
still love me?
You ahead. And I never love you.
You still looking different, Henry?
Man, the hell going on here? It's broadcast all over the world, man.
What did you have, Henry?
Huh?
What did you have?
Have 2 over.
I don't think so.
2 overs? You had ace king? That's what I thought you had. I know you don't lie.
Well, whatever, man.
Henry's a poker player, ergo Henry lies. Last year's 85th place finisher's in trouble. Claudia Crawford shoved when she paired her sixes to go with her straight and flush draws, but Jessie Sylvia's ahead after flopping a pair of jacks.
Sylvia, a 26-year-old Las Vegas pro. Crawford with 17 outs to survive.
And the queen is not one of them. Sylvia fades all trouble, eliminating Claudia Crawford.
85th and 290th at the main event back-to-back years. Claudia Crawford can bring it.
Jessie Sylvia over 1.2 million now after another impressive run from Claudia Crawford. Day 4 of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky continues after this. Daniel Negreanu has almost tripled his stack here on day 4. He came in very short stacked.
Okay, Annie up, let's do this. 20 minutes to get to $1 million.
Elizabeth Hill is showing no signs of let up.
She's smiling and hitting cards and making draws and chipping up. I'm spitting. This could be the start of a beautiful relationship.
Last year's 9th place finisher Sam Holden is the only 2011 November Niner still in the field.
He surrounds himself at home in England with a group of top-flight British pros, and apparently he listens to what they say.
If I play this hand, it has to be something better than aces, if that even exists. Does it?
End of the day, and Marifiati with a pronouncement.
This is actually absurd. Okay, I'm all in.
With ace-king of hearts, he's all in for 305,000.
Ace-king suited not better than aces, but with 30 big blinds left, Marifiati will go with it.
All right, so now some choices to be made on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. Henry Tran folds 9 deuce.
I'm gonna stack you, whatever, all that.
Odell calls, easy call with the aces.
You have aces? You have aces.
Now, wait for the guy behind.
Nice hand. You have pocket aces, huh?
Well, still players left to act.
Marafiati stunned. I'm surprised the pocket didn't fall off his shirt.
The same scenario.
So Odell with a chance to knock out Marafiati here near the end of the night.
One of the last hands of the night, and it's looking like the last hand of Matt Marafiati's 2012 main event.
Look at him, Norman. He is dumbstruck, while Odell seems quite pleased with himself.
Oh, I've seen your hand win today.
That's the only hand I'm calling you with.
Nothing I can do.
I know.
It's very unlucky for me.
We'll see.
Matt with a long bridge to cross. Here's the flop. Boy. 2 hearts in there for him.
Matt's got a pulse. 9 outs twice. Odell still 63% for the knockout.
And Matt still looks stunned at the development. He worked so hard to build his stack up to what he has, and now it's all at risk. The turn card now is the 5 of hearts, and Marafiati gets there with the flush.
I wish we could have bleeped that dance.
Oh, wow.
What the hell?
A stunning double up for Matt Marafiati. I guess ace-king suited is better than aces.
Matt Marafiati stoked and maybe leaving the building. Tim Odell shell-shocked.
Boy, he lost almost half his stack with the aces. Well, Matt's out there somewhere, no doubt smiling.
Pushing with garbage and win. Oh, that's the way it is, man.
Odell gave it his best shot.
Wow.
So an eventful end of day 4 here at the Rio. Kevin Pollak happy to be bagging up chips.
I think he's signing to headline at Caesars for 5 years.
Elizabeth Hill becoming one of the biggest stories here in the main event.
A waitress in her second main event. Wow.
Hill currently in 6th place, but it's Paul Volpe who stole the lead late and hung on to it. Hungarian Andras Karaknai is in 7th place.
And let me say this as loud and clearly as I can. Don't sleep on Nico Mark.
Here's Elizabeth Hill on her day 4.
I've had an amazing run. I started out pretty low and I was forced to just sit and wait and fold and was pretty much just bleeding chips until after the bubble. I was really lucky and I doubled up with ace-10 against ace-jack. And after that, I've been just getting really nice setups. I've been hitting like sets and I've been getting paid every time. So it's been an amazing day.
Day 4 was nothing short of eventful.
Time to play. I'm all in. You have aces. Very unlucky for me.
Yes! A field of 6,598 is now just 282, and the emerging storylines are compelling. Women in control.
All in. I'm all in. For sure gonna bluff off all of it.
With a Hollywood celebrity making some noise too.
All in.
Yeah! That's what I say when I win.
All in, baby.
Is it about the amount, really?
You still love me?
And I never love you.
Is that what we're doing here?
We are on to day 5. For Norman Chad and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.